Well, there my friends are. It's so neat. I'm not kidding you, friend. It's so nice to be able to come here on a Saturday night and see all of my friends out there. And my goodness, we have got more and more people coming into the six screens, many people leaving the Watchtower. It's just amazing to see all of this. Very enlightening. Well, my name is Rick Farron, and I am coming to you, as we always say, from the apostate capital of the world, right up here in Boston. And I have bragging rights. I have to tell you, Boston is the place where if you get into AI and you check it out and you say, where was the largest gathering of ex Jehovah's Witnesses, apostates, criticizers, opposers, whatever you want to call them, they were here August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. 2025, but our ex-witness still alive in 2025 convention, and we had over 350 apostate critics and opposers of the Watchtower. So thank you. I mean, I'm not trying to rub it in too much, but I that's why we call it the apostate capital of the world right up here. Well, anyways, we got a lot going on here tonight, and there's so many things we could sit here together. We could talk about things. You just heard Anne Marie's program. And, we could go into a lot of things tonight that could really rattle the cage of Jehovah's Witnesses. And their cage really deserves to be rattled. I mean, these guys are all over the map. And, you really wonder, you're listening in like you have been many, maybe for the first time, but many have been listening in for a long time. And, we always ask, well, what really is keeping Jehovah's Witnesses in this organization? With all of these rapid fire changes, with all of the difficulties being one of Jehovah's Witnesses can cause for a person, what is the ticket to ride? What is the glue that holds the Watchtower together? Well, let me tell you. In fact, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. We got more things. Barbara Anderson is going to be joining us as well in about an hour from now. She's got some things she wants to share with us, and we know that she fell recently in her home in Tennessee, and she broke her hip, and it wasn't a pleasant thing. She'll tell you about that tonight and some of the projects that she's working on. So Barbara will be on in about another hour from now. So we're looking forward to Barbara. And another thing I wanted to share with you tonight too. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but Susan and I were traveling. We went out to Illinois last weekend. That last week, really. We just got home a couple days ago, but all of a sudden on Thursday night, Susan woke me up and she said, Rick, there's a video on here about the six screens. I said, what? I was half asleep, really. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was like half asleep. I said, Susan, well, what is it? And I instantly woke up. I could not believe it. So somebody actually put a YouTube video up exposing the name of the video was exposing Rick Farron. And I said, geez, who was this? So I was expecting to really hear a lot of negative stuff about me because people do. I mean, I've been in the spotlight here. I've been a target for many criticizers, but it's okay. I don't take it too seriously. So I figured they were really going to say some nasty stuff about me and maybe about you, the callers that call into the program. So I wanted to make sure that nothing was said. So I listened intently to what was being said on that video. First of all, it's not true. Don't take it to the bank and cash it. It's not true what they were saying. They had me now. Now listen to this. They had me as a Disney executive. They said in that video that Rick Farron is a Disney executive. They also said that Rick Farron manages an asset management firm, and they claimed that that I'm worth $350 million. Well, I mean, that's not all true. It would be nice if it was, but it's not all true. So I'm going to play a clip of that tonight. You're not going to believe it. I couldn't believe it. But, on the other hand, too, it did come forth. There was some positive stuff in there. They gave you the listeners and the callers in They gave you a lot of credit. They said one thing that Rick does do, he gets people to call in from all over the world and voice their thoughts on what's going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower. And that's, friends, I have to tell you, this is where ex-Jehovah's Witnesses come to talk. So I am glad that people out there are at least recognizing that. Now, we've been doing this for 20 years. I've never missed a Saturday night. I mean, I'm not trying to, overemphasize it, but this is very important to me. This is very important to you. We are here because you are here. You have to have answers. In our little network here is growing big time. We get a lot of people coming in as of late. I'm talking about not 50 people, not 100 people, not 300 or 400 people. I'm talking about 4,000 or 5,000 people. We are getting a lot of people now. Where are they coming from? Where are these people coming from? I mean, did we do anything? I mean, is it my new haircut? Is it that I shaved a little better? I got a new suit here. It's not that. It's not that at all. So I'm wondering, what is it? Well, we did some short videos. My daughter's a graphic artist, and she does a really good job. And we did some YouTube shots and Facebook shots on the Watchtower. And could it be that? I don't think so. I believe what's happening, friends, and the reason why we're getting so many more people coming into the 6 screens. Now, I know you say, well, Rick, why don't they speak up? Well, they're a little afraid, to be honest with you, just like you were. When you first started calling into the 6 screens and listening, you were afraid to speak up. So we have a lot of people that are listening in, and it really was, I couldn't believe it. I was ready to really challenge YouTube. I was thinking of dropping them an email. I don't think they would read it. I mean, they're a big company. But I'm wondering, how do we go from like 2 weeks ago, how do we go from like 3,000 viewers to like 11 and 12,000? Well, there's 10,000 there and also a number in Facebook. So I'm wondering what's going on. The only thing I can tell you, this is Jehovah's Witnesses leaving, and they're listening into the 6 screens, because here what they like about this is people, it's not just me sitting here giving my story. It's people calling in, and they like that. So thank you. Thank you, all of you new people coming in, and thank you for seeing our little network really starting to take off. And if you like our little network, if you like it, subscribe to it. Now, it's nothing, we don't make any money on it. I'm not trying to do it to say give us money or anything. I never do that. But I'm telling you, just subscribe to the channel. And what that does is it creates better algorithms so that more and more people can connect and understand what's going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower, because you're listening to actual people calling in. These are real people who have been touched by the tentacles of the Watchtower, and you can hear them here. It's really one of the only platforms where you can do that, where they call in on a telephone line. So by all means, stay with us. All right, let's take a look and see what's going on. Let me just grab a little sip of water here, okay? It's really amazing to me that we were able to keep this thing going for 20 years. I mean, when we originally started, I didn't think it was going to do too much, but here we are, 20 years later. And, back then when we started it 20 years ago, if we had, 20, 30 people listening in, I thought that was really phenomenal. And that's before Facebook and YouTube and all of this. We just did it on a telephone line. But what we're experiencing here today is just something that's it's really a gift, and I thank God for it. I thank all you guys for listening in, because this is what our mission has been, to count down the last days of the Watchtower. Okay, let's take a look. I wake up in the middle of the night. Maybe you do too, and you lay in bed, flat on your back or on your side, doesn't matter. Your brain is still working, I think, and you're thinking, what really is keeping my Jehovah's Witness relatives in? What is keeping my friends in this crazy religion? I'm sure that passes your thoughts. I can't believe that. I visited my relatives in Pennsylvania who are witnesses, And I must tell you that they talked to me for the first time. They talked to me the first time in 20 years. And that happened. I mentioned that in last week's program. I'm not going to go into it now. Let me just connect this. I got to go here and connect my computer. I couldn't find one of my chargers, so I got to go back and forth. I got a number of computers here going. So, but anyways, they're down in Pennsylvania. My ex-witness, well, my Jehovah's Witness people that I know, my relatives, they spoke with me for the first time in 20 years. So something is going on, and I'm glad at least they are. And I think that maybe you will get some of your relatives and friends speaking to you as well in the very near future here. But just to reiterate what I've been thinking about here today, well, what is the glue that is keeping people in this organization? All these changes, all of the prophecies that have not come true in the Watchtower, things you can now do you couldn't do. Don't you think that has people thinking? Don't you think even with the viewpoint of on again, make sure everyone can hear me. I do believe they can. All right. If you can't hear me on YouTube right now, just let me know. Type it in there. But let's talk about the glue that's holding the Watchtower. Okay. Okay. Can everyone hear me on here right now? I hit by mistake the computer here. The phone's okay. Okay, the phone's okay. Can you, if you're on YouTube in the chat, can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you. Okay, we're back where we should be. All right. So let's see what is keeping people in. I came up with 4 different things that are keeping people in the Watchtower. Now, this goes beyond mind control. I got thinking, yeah, all mind control, high control groups use it, but there's got to be something else. There's got to be something else that's working for the Watchtower. And what I'm thinking is the bitter truth is that all of us as human beings, there's over 9 billion of us on the planet. And what we're all doing is we're all in search of the secret to life. Do you want to know the secret to life? Are you in search of the secret to life? Well, life in the human flesh can be a challenge. There's many listening to this program tonight that really it's a big challenge. We just talked to Debbie Moore on here. Look at the challenge that she has. Life is difficult. Poor Debbie, she's sick. She's having difficulties. She's in a nursing home. So life can be a real challenge. We worry a lot, don't we? We all worry. We all get anxious. We create massive, painful, existential dread. I mean, we worry too much. It's always like, whoa, man, what's going to happen next to us? All of us are chasing a singular secret. Now, the brain's ultimate attempt to solve this psychological pain. Now, there is pain. All of us in the human race experience pain. Now, it can be chronic physical pain, like many out there listening in have. And also, we have to be faced in the human race with disease. And then also with the decline in aging. Many of us are getting old and we're experiencing things we never experienced before. Many people experience loneliness, they experience isolation, they see systematic injustice. Oh, a lot of injustice, right? and you're not being dealt with fairly. Cop stops you and you weren't even speeding, it gives you a ticket. I mean, there's a lot of injustice out there. And how about poverty? Many people are faced with poverty and trying to overcome that. So, and then some are faced with interpersonal conflict, just can't get along with people. I can't stand that person. These are all the things that we in the human race experience. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is I'm going to give you some of the reasons of the glue that is making people stick to the Watchtower. And I think that you will agree with me, maybe some won't, but I'm coming in from a different angle here tonight. We talked earlier, at least Anne-Marie did, about mind control and Stephen Hassan's book on combating mind control. But I'm going to give you some psychological trigger points that might help us understand the glue that the Watchtower is using to keep people in this crazy organization. So let's look at things from a biological. Hold on one second. We got somebody coming on here. They got putting YouTube on. Friends, if you would just kind of stay. We're not going to take any calls right now, so just stay off of this until we can go through this, and I'll open up the lines. Now, from a biological standpoint, our body has an incredible, fierce self-preservation instinct. From infancy, we want to live for the most part. Most people on planet Earth want to live. And instinctively, we're going to do everything we can to survive, everything we can to live a life of normalcy. Our brain's command center, located in the frontal lobe, in the front of your head, your brain, right behind the forehead, it knows with 100% certainty that our physical body is temporary. Do you get that? I mean, I want you to think about this. Everyone listening to this program tonight, we're not going to live forever. We're all going to die. This physical life is temporary. Now, I'm not trying to in any way be negative or cynical. I'm just trying to be realistic with you folks tonight. We're all going to die at some point in time. So our brain is trying to put together, it's terrifying to think we're all going to die, right? Because we all want to live. So what our brain is actually doing here, it's putting together a terror management theory, at least in theory, trying to do something for us. Humans, they invented this culture. Now, really, we've been on Earth for, if you're following in the Christian way of thinking, for over 6,000 years. If you follow the other way of thinking, who knows how many years? But we can both think the same way here. So for many years, the cosmic truth is that we all feel and know that this is not eternal. I think we all feel that. Does everybody feel that out there? What we're living here on Earth is not eternal. Eventually, it's going to disappear. It's going to, well, and in fact, when you think about it, I mean, I don't want you to get too negative about it, but it's a terrifying feeling. Well, we know that at least all of us, the 9 billion people on the planet, know that this isn't going to always be here for us. So it's exhausting for many people to even think that. I'm sure it's exhausting for you to think that. The brain is constantly trying to think ways around it. They're trying to figure out ways around this suffering, pain, and thinking that we're going to die and all of this. So the mind treats existential threats like dying, and they try to, it's like a puzzle that the mind is trying to figure out, well, how is it that we could really overcome this? How could we live forever? Well, in fact, many are convinced that there is a secret, and maybe you think so too. I mean, even today, if you ask AI, is there a secret to life? Well, they're probably going to tell you. I mean, I don't know if you watched it yesterday or not, but Elon Musk, he feels that we should have colonies on Mars and on the moon. And, they're looking in that direction, and they're trying to preserve people from dying. They're doing everything they can. So consciously or unconsciously, the Watchtower makes out like a bandit here. You got all these people, including many listening in here tonight, that have been involved with the Jehovah's Witnesses. So we have all got hooked onto the Watchtower. We all thought that they had the answer. We all thought that the Watchtower had the secret to life, because we're all looking for that. So the great paradox, if you could say this, of human nature is that the secret that people are chasing does not actually exist in reality. Now, I want you to think about that. Are you going to live forever in the human body, in the physical body? The answer to that is no. So people are chasing something that doesn't exist. So, we've all been finding it difficult, but the Watchtower comes along and they more or less say that they have been on God's side, and they have seeked or got information from God, from the scriptures, that is the secret to life. Now, it's a good story. It's good packaging. So many of us bought into it. And the Watchtower knows this, and they use this false superior connection with Jehovah to get you to follow them. Because many listening here tonight, in search of the secret to life, they say, well, I've studied different things and I want to become more spiritual and what have you. And maybe there is an answer through the scriptures. And so consequently, what happens is the Watchtower totally distorts that. These people claim to be Christians, that they claim that they have a connection, a superior connection to Jehovah God of the universe. So we connected with that. That's one of the things that connected me with Ed. And I was a witness for 50 years. And I truly believe that that's what connected many of you that are listening into this program here tonight with becoming one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So when people treat the secret of life as a hidden place of knowledge that will instantly fix their minds, they fall victim to the so-called mentor of the Watchtower. So they're taking this secret to life and say, well, maybe the Watchtower. As a matter of fact, don't even put maybe before it. They're saying the Watchtower has the answer. And that's one of the reasons, that's one of the glues that sticks people to the Watchtower. They really feel the Watchtower has the secret to life. They have the truth. And they stay highly vulnerable to these cult leaders. They are scammers. They are dealing with ideologies that are false, not only religious, but even secular ideologies, scientific ideologies that the Watchtower has presented through the years that were not true. But somehow, some way, many of us went right along with them. So there's 4 different characteristics here that I'm going to bring up tonight on the glue that's keeping the Watchtower in. So the first one, as we just mentioned, is the secret to life. They claim that they have the secret, even though you probably never heard it expressed that way. Well, it was the truth. It was the truth. Everybody else doesn't have it. You have it. You have the truth. And it's interesting to know at this point, too, that all cults believe that they have the truth. If you talk to the Mormons, if you talk to Scientologists, if you talk to the Church of Scientology, as well as Mary Baker Eddy's with her Church of Scientists, you will find out that they all say they have the truth. So then it's these highly vulnerable cult leaders that the people joining the Watchtower kind of listen to, because they feel they have the secret. Okay, So we got that far. Okay, so that's the first point we're going to discuss. Now, the second thing here, look, I've been doing this program for 20 years, and I put this together on my own. This isn't from Stephen Hassan's book. This isn't some mind control technique that I'm trying to give you. I'm giving you a systematic psychological reason why people get so attracted and the glue that keeps the people in the Watchtower. So let's move on to number two. Now, in my years of doing this program, and you got to pick something up, friends. I mean, you can't do something for 20 years and not pick something up. Your antenna is going to be up. Well, what are people really saying? What are they saying that they liked about the Watchtower? What do they say that keeps them in the Watchtower? Well, I'm going to point to is structured life. Let me announce that again. Structured life. Do people like structure and regulation in their lives? Well, I guess I must have. I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses for 50 years, and I've heard people come on this program in the 20 years and talk about they like that regulated, disciplined lifestyle. Yes, I'm going to go on the record to say here that people generally rely and thrive with structure. People love structure in their life. Now, neurologically, let's go from a neurological position here. The brain is wired to crave the predictability of routines and regulations because it reduces decision fatigue. And this conserves mental energy and helps lower stress. Let me put that in my own words for you, okay? The brain is wired. We all have a brain, and it's wired to crave predictability. We like to we like routines. We like regulations because it's predictable. We knew where we were going to go every Sunday to the public talk and to the meeting. We knew in the summers it was predictable. We were going to go to the conventions. We knew that it was predictable that we're going to go door to door in service. So the brain actually, whether you know it or not, the brain actually is wired to crave predictability. Now, do people like being in a cult, being regulated and structured and trying to find purpose? That's why many people are in this cult. Yes, it's certainly is true. Many people genuinely appreciate the extreme structure and regulation of a cult because it satisfies a profound psychological desire for order, belonging, and an intense sense of purpose. Let me just underline that for you so you can get a view or understanding here. When people are in a highly structured arrangement, a regulated arrangement that we all were as Jehovah's Witnesses, actually, we didn't realize it, but we were being satisfied. We had a profound psychological desire for order. And how many times have you heard it said, oh, the Watchtower organization, they are so organized. Oh, and we kind of thought that, right? All of us. So we connected with that thought. Now, no one joins an organization thinking it is a dangerous cult. Well, when you became one of Jehovah's Witnesses, did that thought even cross your mind, thinking that it was a dangerous cult? No, it didn't. We joined a community, we thought, that would improve our lives. That's what we thought. So individuals who are navigating their way through a chaotic world, dealing with personal trauma, experiencing major life transitions, we all handed our decision making thoughts over to a rigid system that would provide immediate relief from anxiety. That's what we all did, not knowing it. I mean, I handed my decision making thoughts and plans over to the Watchtower. I let them make the plans for me. Okay, Rick, you're going to go to the meeting on Tuesday night. Then you're going to go Thursday. You're going to go in service Saturday. You can't watch an R-rated movie. You can't celebrate holidays. I made them. We all did. And you have to be fair and honest about this. We all let the Watchtower make our decisions. So why is it that being in a cult structure and having all of this regulation is very appealing? And I'm going back on the trail now. I'm picking up crumbs and I'm examining some of these things that are the glue to keeping us in the Watchtower. So again, the question, why, by being in a cult structure and having so much regulation, how do we find that appealing? I look back on it now and I don't find it appealing, but at the time I must have, because what it does when you're in a cult structure and you're being regulated like we were in the Watchtower, what it does is it eliminates an existential dread. Oh, what does that mean? Eliminates an existential dread. Well, cults like the Watchtower, they offer absolute black and white answers to life's most complex questions. This eliminates the cognitive burden of figuring out one's own purpose. Did that happen to you? It happened to me. I know it happened to you too. See, we found being in the Watchtower, even though they gave us all these regulations and structured our life, we found that it offered us absolute black and white answers. This is one of the big tricks, friends, of the Watchtower. They didn't say, well, it could be this, Brother Farron, or it could be that, Sister Susan. Well, what they said here is black and white. That, oh my goodness, that we love that. In fact, I think of, when we were kids and, little kids, I'm talking about 4, 5, 6, going to school for the first time, 7, 8. It's like our parents, when they said something, it wasn't black or white. It was black or white. It wasn't any gray. We believed them. They were our parents. And we take that same feeling on when we were in the Watchtower, and we liked that. So believe it or not, we actually liked an organization that gave us an answer. Yes, it was black or white. So what this also does, when you allow the Watchtower to make these decisions for you and give you these answers that you're looking for in life, what it does is it relieves fatigue. Oh yes, it relieves fatigue. I mean, how was it that being in the Watchtower relieved fatigue? I'm thinking just the opposite here. I'm thinking they made more fatigue. They made it more difficult on us. But what I'm experiencing here, or at least feeling, that they relieved fatigue, because I'll tell you what, by regulating everything from our daily schedules to clothing to even our diet, our relationships, what it did is they made the decisions for us. We didn't have to have the stress of trying to make our own decision. You got that? Now that's an offense. I'm giving you little bits of information here that I'm really connecting with this. These are little things the Watchtower packages together to make this one big organization that's going to gain control of you. And they're doing it so subtly. Yep. They controlled everything we did, schedules, clothing, where we're going to go, what we're not going to do, what we can see, what we can't see, what we can read, what we can't read, all of this stuff. And that eliminates stress. So people like this. We all must have liked this. Now, psychologists note that high controlled environments allow adults to hand over responsibility for their lives in a paternalistic leader. Well, I just mentioned about your mother and father, right? So when we hand our lives over to the Watchtower, to the governing body, it's kind of like they were our parents. Oh, they're right. They're leading us in the right direction, and they're giving us safety, and they're helping us. Just it's like we thought when we were early children, right? And another thing that Watchtower is good at too, and also able to get us to really connect with them, is it's an instant community. Now, in the 20 years I've been doing this program, I have talked to so many people that have been touched by the tentacles, as we say. And one of the things that made many people become one of Jehovah's Witnesses is an instant community. Friends, we all want friends. We need friends. And what this framework within the Jehovah's Witness religion does is it helps us all to build this social network. We all instantly gain friends, and members never have to worry about loneliness because we all fit in. And we really did. I mean, even though it was like unconditional love, but we always felt people loved us and they love bombed us. And oh, Brother Farron and Sister Susan and all these people, they're all wonderful. It was a false thing, but we all went through it. So that's what I wanted to bring up tonight is so the first couple of things we discussed here, just so that you can reiterate in your ways of thinking, we were all looking for the secret to life. Down the road came the Watchtower. We felt they had it. We felt they had the truth. So, we kind of said, fine. We became Jehovah's Witnesses. And then also the idea of a structured life or a rigid, controlled life, regulated life. We must have liked that too. We all kind of fell for that. So, I mean, I'm speaking here for myself. So maybe most people out there don't feel the same way I do, but we'll open the lines up in a while and get your feelings on it. But these are my feelings. It might not be yours. So, anyways, I just want to bring this out a little more. People liking that structured life. And of course, now we got to go on to another thought here. Let me come down to 4. I got these all outlined for us. 3. We have to go to number 3. So let's go to number 3. All right. Number 3 would simply be. Let me get it here for us. Okay. All right. Psychological benefits of connecting with people. And kind of the same way of thinking here. There's a lot of psychology, and we can benefit connecting with people. And when we all think of it, connecting with other people is a fundamental human need that directly impacts your brain chemistry, my brain chemistry. It impacts our nervous system and emotional resilience. Now, we had a lady on here earlier. You heard her. If you still don't know Debbie, I'm respecting what you said and the difficulties you're experiencing. But what happens here is we have to be able to connect with other human beings. It directly impacts our brain chemistry. Did you know that? Well, I think most do. I mean, if you're going to sit in a corner all day and never have any interaction with people, I think it could begin to intercept thoughts in your head, your nervous system, and your emotional resilience. It could affect all of that. So the Watchtower knows this fundamental human need. And when you are able to make meaningful bonds with people, your body undergoes biological, chemical, and actively creates a shield from psychological distress. So what I'm saying here is that when you have friends and you have meaningful bonds, you really feel, hey, this is really my friend. And we thought that as Jehovah's Witnesses. The body undergoes biological changes that actively shield you from psychological distress. Did you know that? You can have a lot less stress by having good, meaningful bonds with other people. So by knowing that we all had a reliable, thinking it anyways, a reliable support network that provides psychological safety, like a safety net for us, and we could get away from a lot of the trauma in life that you would experience. It was very important. So, well, what that did, and the Watchtower did it, is they brought us into arrangement. And give up all your relatives, give up all your friends. You now have these are your best friends. These are your witness friends. Everybody else is worldly. By putting feelings like that in your head, you really felt like you were bonded to these people. This is one of the glues that keeps people in the Watchtower. And now I'll give you number 4. I'll give you number 4. Building a psychological firewall. Oh, this is good. Building a psychological firewall. Now, this is one of the glues the Watchtower uses to the best degree. You see, when we all feel that we've found the secret to life, and we have the best belief system you could ever have on planet Earth. And didn't we all feel that? Didn't we believe that we have found the secret? We have found the truth. We've got the best belief system in the world. All these other belief systems are worldly. They're organized and directed by Satan the devil. We have the truth. How many times have we heard that? So what you do when you feel you have the best belief system in the world, you build a firewall around this belief system. Now, it then actively screens, filters, and blocks any outside information that threatens your worldview. Just like a computer, we all have a firewall on our computers, right? So, what the firewall does is it blocks malicious software to protect the operating system. So, a mental firewall, which we had as Jehovah's Witnesses, and even many of our relatives and friends who are Jehovah's Witnesses currently, they have a mental firewall that blocks threatening facts to protect the person's sense of identity, security, and reality. They will not listen to it. They protect. It's like a firewall. Anything coming through is not going to get through. So when a person builds this firewall or this barrier, they transition from simply holding a belief to actively policing their mind against alternative perspectives. Let me just reiterate that for you. So when the witness builds a firewall around their belief system that this is the truth, it's actively policing. You don't realize it, but it's being done. You actively there's something policing your mind to keep alternative perspectives or thoughts coming into your mind. This is how the mental firewall operates, and it's going on in the mind of witnesses. The mind proactively avoids environments that would create, doubt in the mind of the witness. They avoid news outlets, social circles, and also convicting views. It seeks out pure chambers in their mind where the belief system is currently validated. Now how is that belief system that Jehovah's Witnesses, how is it being validated? It's being validated by constantly having to go to meetings and conventions. So that's how it's done. And also, it's being validated by us versus them filter. Incoming information is not judged by its factual accuracy, but by its source. Oh, we all know that, right? We could go up to a witness and give them all of the facts, all of the information they would need to see this is not the truth. This is a baloney organization. But if the data comes, this is the witness now, if the data, that firewall that's around their brain, if the data comes from an outsider or a critic, the firewall immediately flags it as malicious propaganda, bad faith, or fake news. Yes. Isn't that something when you think about it? And, we have to really even add another category here. I'm going to add another one here, and I'm going to say it without any hesitation. The Jehovah's Witnesses, they are living in an illusionary world. It's very illusionary. Living in an illusionary world, it's a profound psychological defense mechanism. And we all lived, when we were Jehovah's Witnesses, we all lived in an illusionary world. And this was a mechanism, a psychological mechanism designed to protect us from physical reality that is too chaotic, painful, and devoid of meaning. And that's how we used to look at the world. We were being protected in this illusionary world. Everything outside our witness world was worldly, bad. Satan, the devil lived out there. We're going to be attacked any day of the week. The demons were going to pop out of the wall. So they brought us into an illusionary world. The mind, and bear in mind now, what does the mind do when you're in an illusionary world? Is almost like a shock absorber. You're really kind of in a zombie state. You don't really see it. Be like a person maybe on heavy drugs or maybe even alcohol. It's like a shock absorber. It's masking over the real world. It's not letting you see the real world, and it's acting like a shock absorber, protecting you from it. So I mean, well, how do we feel that we were being protected from the real world? Well, we weren't having careers. Why would you want to have a career? Why would you want to start a business? We couldn't celebrate holidays. We were shunning friends and relatives. These are people that were supposedly loved. I mean, that's an illusionary world. But we couldn't really allow our minds to come outside of that world. We were living in an illusionary world, and it was a shock absorber. It was helping us to be able to do the things we did, like shunning friends and relatives without really thinking about it, to not celebrate holidays without really thinking about it. It was a shock absorber. It was not allowing us to live in the world, in the real world. So the illusionary world is a deeply detailed, structured fantasy. It's a fantasy universe built inside our own mind. And when we were one of Jehovah's Witnesses, this was all in our mind. If we were to get the facts, which many of us did and were able to leave, that world would have blown up. That illusionary world disappeared. So I wanted to give you some thoughts here tonight on the glue, because like I say, that these guys, it's mind control too, to some degree, we know that. But there's also some deep psychological reasons how the Watchtower has kept us in. Well, I mean, if you guys have any thoughts on this, I wanted to give you my little expose. Because I really wonder about this, doing this program and talking to people. So if you'd like to speak up, what do you think? Were you in an illusionary world? Did you like structure? Were you seeking the truth? Were you seeking a secret? Go ahead, you run with us. Go ahead.
I think you're totally 100% on the firewall. I think that was 5-star. As far as the illusionary world, the Disney movie Tuck Everlasting reminds me so much of the Bible students and the witnesses age 17 to 70 should see that little movie, Tuck Everlasting. As far as the secret to life, I think maybe some of my family lived longer because of that. Yes, we're all mortal, but if you can kind of pretend that you're not going to age as fast and eat your salad and have your walk and drink your water, maybe you might get some benefit. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, thank you, Pixie. Thank you for your little critique on that. I appreciate that. And, when you stop and think about it, it's just my thoughts. And, everybody doesn't have to agree with me. But go ahead, Susan. What are you thinking?
Well, we've had quite a few deep discussions on this. And so this that you've given out today has not come without a lot of thought and research. One thing that I noticed that could be the part of the glue if we have a lot of questions when we come to the Watchtower, is there hell? Is there heaven? Do we live forever? Whatever. Well, we have these questions, and the Watchtower gives you the answers right away. Boom. But we never question, are they the right answers? They give you answers to everything, but are they the right answers? And that's something that you need to think about.
Well, that's good too, Susan. Yeah, that's they have the answers for us. We didn't have to really do much research or anything like that. They gave us the answers, black and white. Well, thank you, Susan. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean,
But the big part is that are they the right answers? They give you answers, but they're not correct.
well, right, but we all believe they were correct. That's the strangest thing.
I believe they were correct, right?
Yeah. So, what are you guys out there thinking? I mean, did you really think you had the truth? I mean, maybe some people listening. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, Rick, just a couple of thoughts. When you're in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, you believe that you are elite. You know things that people that are on TV with college degrees and so forth, they don't know. You feel you know that Armageddon is going to come. You know when it's going to be, October 75, and you are elite. And most Jehovah's Witnesses don't even have, don't go to college. They probably just have a high school diploma. And they feel that everybody else, educationally, are better than them. Now they're smarter than these people that are on TV with their college educations, because they know what's going to happen in the future, and all these college educated people don't know. And you feel elitist. Also, you feel you have a family of elite people, and that belonging is so important. Anne Marie brought that out on her program, and she brings that out quite articulately a number of times. When you're a Jehovah's Witness, you are in with the super religious, the super sinless. You are super smart. You're better than everybody else because you're a Jehovah's Witness. And that's part of the glue that keeps this organization functioning. Thank you, Rick.
Well, Dick, that's another aspect I didn't think about, but that's true too. Who doesn't want to be a Navy SEAL? Who doesn't want to be a Green Beretman? I mean, these are elite. You're proud to be that. And, we were all proud to be Jehovah's Witnesses. And we thought that we knew more than everybody about religion. So that's another aspect of the glue right there, Dick. Thank you for sharing that with us, because I agree with that. That could be put in the mix here as well. Maybe we could write a book on the glue that keeps the Watchtower people in. It's crazy. Well, you're on 6 screens with us. What do you think? You must have some thoughts. Well, what kept you in there? Now think about it. Well, what kept you in this organization? Did you really feel it was the truth? Did you feel they had the secret to life for you? Did you feel that you were elite, like Dick was just saying? Well, how did you feel? I'd like to know. It's very important that we all can share these thoughts together. So we got a lot of people on here right now. Go ahead and hit *6 and tell us, did you feel like you were special? What do you think? So many things we could discuss on this subject, and I feel that it really deserves to be discussed, because there's a lot of people right now out there that have friends and relatives, and you're wondering what's keeping them in. Go ahead, you run with us.
Yeah, I'll say something.
Go ahead.
I understood the Watchtower and everything, but in the way that I seen it was just like the military. When you get out of the military, you're looking for something to have structure in your life, or business to go into and have a structured business that you don't have to have too many answers, and you go ahead and go along with the program. That's what it seems to me like, a structured to take your feelings and everything away from you and then place their feelings and their ways into your mind. And it's just like when you walk into the military, they strip you down, they tell you you're part of Uncle Sam's army. And that's the way it's going to be. That's the way the Watchtower acts.
Well, you got it. You're right.
From a lot of different, I see it from a bunch of different perspectives, but I'm glad I wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. And I've seen what my families went through for 35 years and listened to their nonsense and all their baloney. And I learned to stay away from them. So they showed me one way to stay away, another way I could be part with them. But my mind and my soul told me no. So
Well,
I never became a Jehovah's Witness, but I've seen all the hatred and the different ways that they would try to invoke their thoughts into you, and just the way they wrote their literature, just the way they instill their literature into the people. And like the theocratical ministry school, they made sure that you had something to know about. They structured their way of thinking through the theocratical ministry school. I watched that for 20 years.
Well, no doubt, David. No doubt, David. You've been touched by the tentacles too. My goodness gracious. Well, it's always good to hear from you, and you can see some of the controlling techniques they use. Thank you, David, for coming and being with us. Thank you. Let's go to 571. No, not five. How about 575? 575. Come on, you're on with us.
Oh, yeah. This is Bernadette. So, Rick, I really appreciate your show. You have a lot of good insights. And I did really believe them. I mean, I really believed it was the only true religion, which is really ignorant, because why is it that the first religion you run into when you're 14, it's like it's the only true one? But I have to say, they are masters of deception. They're liars. They change the Bible. They're not truthful. And so they take these sincere, good-hearted people and snatch them up and beat them up in every way, especially spiritually. And, you know, when they take things out of the Bible, when they change the scriptures, that's like one of the worst things you can do in God's eyes. I hate to be in their shoes in the coming judgment, but we were tricked. We were duped. We had good hearts, and I think Satan goes and tries to snatch up these people before they can get into true Christianity. Anyway, that's just my thought.
Well, it's a good thought, Bernadette. I mean, I'm glad you spoke up and said it. You believed it was the truth, just like so many other people did. So that's the question I'm asking. Were you in this? Did you really believe it was the truth? Did you join it for socializing with other people? Did you join it because you thought the Watchtower had the secret to life? Well, did you build a firewall around your belief system?
The born is we don't join. That's where the born is.
I'll tell you why I joined, and this is the absolute truth. It was that stupid. Let me repeat that. Stupid Armageddon. You know, they used that and scared the hell out of us. And yeah, we were good-hearted, sincere people, but like I got baptized in '74, and there was all this hoopla, Armageddon. I know Well, I'm not saying I wouldn't have become a witness, but I really do think that spurred me on. That and that's why I'm so sick of Armageddon. It's God's war, whatever it means. It's not concerning me. I just will never let somebody. I don't want to serve God out of fear. I don't want to do anything out of fear. And I'm so sick of Armageddon that whatever it is, it's fine with me. But I will not let somebody scare me and control me ever again. But I do really think that's how they got me by the jugular. They use fear to control people.
Well, there you go, Bernadette. That's what they do. Well, thank you. Thank you. Let's go to 831. 831, you're on with us. Go ahead. 831?
How about chicken lip? Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I think part of the glue that holds people in, I just remember being in the organization. My entire life revolved around the organization, even though I was working, taking care of my kids. Everything was revolving around the organization. And I think part of the glue that holds people in is they can't imagine their life any other way. They cannot imagine their life not revolving around that organization and their indoctrinations and expectations to conform and perform, because they've made it their entire life. And that was how Watchtower set us up. Thank you, Rick.
Well, thank you, Anne Marie. I didn't know that was you. Thank you. Let's go to, I guess it's Dick or Constance. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Rick. This is Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah. There were twofold that kept me in the Watchtower. One, the heavy indoctrination as a child, that fear of Armageddon. But I will tell you what else contributed to me staying in the Watchtower was I was a people pleaser. I think I mentioned it in prior programs that my mom's husband, even though he was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, abused me heavily. And I mean, he almost killed me on several occasions. So I became a people pleaser. When I left, when I was 18 years old, I left for Kansas, started working, and I was actually not baptized. I was living a normal life of a non-witness, and they came to my door, and the person that I invited him in, and when I told him I used to go to the Kingdom Hall, which I should have never told him, he said, well, you know that you're going to die at Armageddon. That's what he told me. So not just the fear of Armageddon, but I was a people pleaser. I felt that I had to please this man who I actually really didn't even know, him and his wife. So I started going back to the meetings. So being a people pleaser could also contribute to somebody staying in the Watchtower. Thank you, Rick.
Well, there you go. But we'll add that to the glue list. Maybe we'll write a book, like I say, the glue that keeps people in. We'll put that on the list. Thank you, Joe. Well, that's yes.
Hi, Maverick here.
Yes, Maverick.
Yeah, it's a really interesting topic tonight. I was thinking to myself, I wasn't born in, but I was mid-teens. I was a teenager when my family joined into the organization, and a word that kept coming back to me is trust, because I had no reference to biblical doctrinal back and forth between Baptists and, say, another denomination. So I came into the organization very green in my biblical knowledge. But from my young years, I can remember being really impacted by, I like these people. They seem very, very kind, nice community. And so if there's a vacuum where you're searching for answers, and internally all the doctrines are kind of bulletproof. If you look at any of the books that we had, like the You Can Live Forever or the Truth book, without having outside references, it's self-contained. So for me, the trust, like it was that was the biggest thing. I trusted them. I felt that they were genuine, and the leadership at that point, we didn't see them on camera or anything. So I had no reason to doubt that what I was being told was a real foundationally sound. And why would they try and deceive me? So, there's just naivety and ignorance on my part, because I'm a young person who hasn't really had enough life experience at that point. I got baptized 16 and a half, with only about a year of exposure to the organization in total before that. Or actually 6 months before that. So it's like that. I think that's a big part of it too. We tend to once we start trusting someone, they could abuse you for decades. But the first initial connection is trust, for me anyway. So maybe that's also a part of it too. They get us like that. They get us to trust them first. Everything's nice and gentle when you first go in. And as soon as you baptize, woof, you just like, now you're in. Now you do as you're told. You told the party line now. Well, there's consequences. But we're never told that when we first someone knocks on your door or so you're introduced. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it.
Well, thank you, Maverick. Always good to hear that. We'll put that on the list too. Trust. Yeah, we put a lot of trust in them. Well, listen, we've got maybe we got time for one more here. Let's go to 717. Yeah, hold on 1 second. I got a few here. Yeah, we got Barbara. You hold on with us. Barbara Anderson's in the background there, backstage. We'll bring her on shortly. Let's go with Nadine first. Yep.
Hi, Rick.
Hi, Nadine.
Okay. Hi. So you want to know why I stayed in?
Yes.
Why I stayed. Okay. Well, number one was my mother. She was such a strong personality as far as, having to go to the meetings and be a Jehovah's Witness. She was lenient on everything, but it was because of her, and also keeping my friends that I had a lot of friends that were witnesses. And so those are big reasons. Those are really big reasons to stay. And at that time, there was no chemo or whatever that like there is now. But I always had questions, even from a young age. And my dad was not a witness, so I heard both sides. So that was my reasoning. And also with going to the meeting center, I was born in, there's a certain amount of, brainwashing that goes on with it too.
Well, there you go. I'm gonna have to put that in my notes too, because I really.
Real quick.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Nadine. Thank you, Nadine. I'm going to put that in the book as well. Go ahead. You're on with us. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rick, I just wanted to make a comment on the glue.
Yeah.
Something I was thinking about was if you think about it, the elders in the congregation, some of them just love the power that they have. So it makes me think about maybe they might not believe in what the Watchtower teaches, but they stay there because they love the power and the leadership, that position that they're put in. But that's my comment.
Well, very good. No, that's true too. That's a lot of elders are staying in because they get that power. Yeah. Who's this?
Hi, Rick.
Hi. Who's
Hi,
it?
Joe.
Joe. Yeah. Hi, Joe.
How are you?
I'm good.
I like your discussion. Rick.
Thank you.
I really do. I was thinking, it makes me think of something as silly as Velcro. The thing with the hooks.
Sure.
The loops. And the hook grabs onto those loops and it's got it. Well, we all have those loops on us. In other words, we're all able to be influenced, and someone's going to appeal to me because, hey, Joe, you're the this and the that, and you're the, oh, I am, oh, wow, and I can do the same thing with someone else, or I can get them. I can do something that shows a disrespect for their personal preferences, or they can do something that shows a disrespect for my personal preferences. But if you're a decent human being, you don't do that. We respect each other. like I'm not going to try and get someone to eat the kind of ice cream I like any more than I'd want them to get me to eat the kind of ice cream that they like. But yet, see, government does that. The government wants us to do and to say and to think what they want. And they know that religion does that to humans in the deepest way. In the deepest way. They know how to get people to disrespect the other human being. And my attitude is, if the world had no religions, no one would feel that they're any more special than anyone else. They're not going to get any greater prize than the other person, and they would learn to respect each other. Otherwise, they're simply not going to get along. I believe that religion really is probably one of the major causes of the very thing that Watchtower did with us personally.
Well, good comment, Joe. Very, very good comment. Yeah, very good comment. Thank you. Well, that's Joe Garino. We know Fran and Joe. We love them. They're great people. They got their own channel. And by all means, make sure you visit them and let them know what you're thinking of them. Thank you, Joe. All right. Let's go to, boy, got a lot of people. I'm going to Barbara Anderson. So stay on here with us. Let's try 229. A couple more calls. 229. Come on with us. You want to
Hello, my name is
I'm sorry, what was your name, sister?
Indira.
Indira. Hi, Indira. Good.
Right.
Well,
I'm from Jamaica. My parents moved to America, and I'm the only one in my family that left. I'm the last of 11 children, and let's see. I am trying to get them out, but what I tell them, I say to them lastly that do not let a religion, your religion says they will do their research for you. And that's a good way for someone to lie to you. So do your own research. That's what I tell them.
good for you. Good for you. Well, Indira, am I saying that right? Is that your name, Indira?
Yes, you're saying it right, yes.
Well, thank you for calling in. Now, do you live in Jamaica now or are you here in the States?
No, I'm in the States. I live in Georgia right now, me and my husband. My husband was the one that got me out of the religion. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Indira. So I think this is the first time you called in. That's good.
Yes, the first time I called in. Mm-hmm.
Well, how long have you been out?
I've been out for about 4 or 5 years now.
Well, very good, Indira. So you found freedom. You're happy now, and your husband's doing good too. Well, that's wonderful.
Oh, yes.
That always makes.
He's been out for about 14 years, I think.
Wow. So he worked on getting you out. Now you're out, huh? Boy, that's good.
Yes.
Well, that's
Yes,
good.
he did.
Oh, that's
I all my kids. I raised all my kids as a witness, but they're out of it too. So I'm happy for that.
well, good for you, Indira. And I'd like to one of these days we'll get you on and tell your story a little more. When we have some time to do that. But thank you for calling in tonight, Indira. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You have a good day too.
Well, thank you. Well, anyways, why don't we can we bring on Barbara Anderson? Let's bring Barbara Anderson on. And hello, Barbara.
Howdy, Rick.
There you are.
Yeah.
So we were talking about, Barbara, what's the glue that keeps people in the organization? Before we get into your little narrative tonight, what you want to speak about, what was the glue that kept you in?
Oh, I love the beliefs.
You love the beliefs.
I really did. You know, I was raised a Catholic, and everything about the Catholic Church is spiritual. You're going to go to heaven, or you go to hell, burning hell, or you got to go and confess spiritual stuff. And when the witnesses talk to me about something that's as near and dear to my heart about God's kingdom, and I prayed it, but I never thought about it. I just thought it was heaven. And when they explained it, I fell in love with the teaching of the kingdom being an earthly place. You I understand what the witnesses teach, but in the beginning, I thought the kingdom was earthly, and from the way the witnesses interpreted it. And it was really, as I got older, I looked at encyclopedias and I studied all this stuff and saw that really the belief of the kingdom and it being wrapped around Jewish tradition of the millenarianism, the 1,000-year rule of Christ. And then I began to see a different picture. But this is not when I was a little girl, it was World War II. That's all. And my family were all Polish. And so all I heard about at home was war here in New York. So, because so many of the family were in Poland. And so just to think that we would have a peaceful earth was just wonderful. And I looked at so many scriptures that they showed me, and I took them literally. So there's my answer.
Well, that's a good answer. No, in fact, that's good. And a lot of different thoughts on what keeps people in.
Yeah.
But we're glad to have you on here tonight.
Thank you.
And I'll let you kind of give the audience an understanding here what happened to poor Barbara here in the last month.
Yeah, poor Barbara. That's the way I felt about myself. Well, I was down in my office, and this is last 2 weeks ago, approximately. And so my house is an interesting one in that we're on a hill, and you drive your car in the garage, and if you keep on going, you're in the basement with the car. But that's not the way we do. We have a garage. And so so we have a nice office for me in that part of the hill. And so we also have 2 bathrooms, and we also have a visitors, a nice apartment for visitors. So I'm down in this place often. Of course, I'm in my office. And so I was coming down to my office, and I had some handfuls of things to take upstairs, whereas our living quarters and the main floor is upstairs. And so as I proceeded out of the door from the laundry room, I tripped. And I still don't understand exactly how I did it, but because I'm not a klutz. I've never fallen before. I was thrown from a horse when I was 16, and that was, I guess that was the biggest thing in my life. And so as I came out of the door, my foot caught on something, which could have been part of the, I have a little rug there. And so I went down like a sack of iron, because when I hit the garage floor, concrete, I actually heard the bone in my left hip snap. And I knew I was in trouble. If I had been alone, I don't know what could happen, because I could not move. So my sister-in-law, Linda, who lives, we live together in my house, and that's why we also have the apartment. She lives in the apartment. And I was yelling and yelling for her, and she was upstairs and she didn't hear me. Then I took the foot that was still free. The broken hip was under. I was laying on my broken hip, so my right leg was free, and I started hitting on the door to the apartment with my foot, and she heard that and came running and called the ambulance, and I ended up in the hospital. And there were 3 people that were dying that were in the emergency room ahead of me. So I had to lay there on the table in a dark room waiting, because of course I had to have a CAT scan and all of that. And so that took a few hours to get to me. And then from there, they realized how much damage I had done. And the orthopedic surgeon at the hospital near our house, which was only 5 minutes away, well, the orthopedic surgeon that was usually there, he wasn't. Apparently he was somewhere else. And so I have no idea. All I know is that they took me to the hospital in the next county because that orthopedic surgeon was there, and he did the surgery. What I did was, when I fell, I literally it's like a ball or something that you have as your hip, and then it's got some kind of covering on it, and the ball was pretty much intact, but the covering snapped. That's what I heard. And this is a very poor description, because anytime anybody explains to me what happened to me, I seem to, my brain seems to close up. I don't really want to know, but as the days progressed in the hospital, I was learning a bit about it. They had to put me in restraints because I was in so much pain, and I became allergic to some of the drugs they gave me, and so I was not a happy camper. And eventually, it all got straightened out, and then from there, that hospital, I went to a place where they try to teach me how to walk again, or all kinds of therapy. And so this was May 27th when I fell. So here I am now. It's the 13th of June. I have a walker, and I'm very obedient to the doctor's orders. I can't cross my ankles. I can't lean down and pick anything off the floor on my left side. I have 4 more weeks before I'll probably be sort of normal, and I won't have to have the walker. Yesterday I was at the surgeon's, and they took x-rays, and they said I'm healing very, very good. For my age, everybody always brings up my age, you know. I should be half dead at this age when I fell and would never recover. So, and the place, Life Care, where the therapy was, that people were commenting that how well I was doing, because they found out my age, which I make sure to tell everybody how old I am, because I'm bragging how good I'm doing. Of course, I'm dragging one leg, and I'm in pain and everything. But considering other outcomes, I'm doing quite well. I don't have a lot of pain. I have an ache in that side because I got this huge big metal thing in my left side. So, which is now my new hip. If anybody would have told me this was going to happen to me, I would have said, you're crazy. It never would have happened to me. But you never know. So I have stairs in the house. And so I'm, when Joe was alive, you know, our residence was upstairs. And I so used to go running up and down the stairs. Well, I can't do that anymore. I can't even go down. So today we're talking to a company to put a stair lift, because it's going to be a year before I'm normal. So said the orthopedist doctor. And I usually go up and down the stairs all the time because my office is is downstairs, and I have all my research stuff. I'm not in my office right now, but even though you can see books behind me, it's in one of the smaller bedrooms upstairs. I have to stick to being upstairs. So I have a wonderful sister-in-law who married my brother, many years ago, and he is long deceased. So she lives with me, and she's taking care of me, and I mean she is, because I couldn't even cook for myself. There was nothing. If I didn't have her or somebody to care for me, I don't know what I would have done. I had some offers, but Linda, she was here, and so she has been a huge help. I can put one sock on, but I can't get my left sock on because I gotta lean over, and you're not supposed to. So she puts my left sock on. So,
Well, Barbara, I have to say, you're really looking good, and you're doing good, and we're glad for that.
you should have seen me a few days ago. You would have never sent that ever.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, a lot of people have been writing me here. Where's Barbara? And is Barbara okay? I heard she fell, so I'm glad to get you on here tonight, and they can hear it right from you. Now, Barbara, you have been involved, of course, exposing the Watchtower for many years, and I have to say that you were one of the first pioneers that were exposing the Watchtower. A lot has happened in the 20 plus years that you've been doing that. It's been probably more like 30. So I'm just thinking in terms, well, what would you think? What would you think, Barbara, is the biggest change, the biggest disruption you have seen that's going on right now in the Watchtower? What would you say, Barbara?
What a question. Well, as far as I know, there's not much going on. They keep getting rid of teachings, and whatever they introduce doesn't seem to stick with people. Some people who have been talking to me in the past few months, they're actually thrilled because some of their relatives are talking to them. And who knows what's coming or going on in the top echelons of the Watchtower. They're under a lot of pressure throughout the world. That pressure is the accountability as an organization to do the right thing on the part of its advocates and stop shunning children. There are so many countries now, 7 or 8 countries that are looking closely at Watchtower to ban them. And it seems like it's slow. It could be slow, but I'm not on the inside and don't know a lot about it, but I do know worldwide from my own experiences that people are fascinated with what I talk about to them, and I do everywhere. In the hospital, when I was finally able to pull myself together and do a little talking, where I had I go to have my the work done on my muscle in my leg. I tell people what I was doing for 25 years. One of the women who is she's got quite a high position in one of the counties here at a hospital facility. So I talked to her and found out that her husband is a major political figure in that county. And when I told them, and I tell everybody the same thing, what I've been doing for 25 years, and the response is fantastic. And they say, please continue to do this because I talk about the children. And they all agree. They are churchgoers, and they're seeing that their churches are not doing much of anything about protecting the children. One lady actually told me, she said, I've been married 5 times. She said, my 3rd husband married me to get at my daughter. She said, oh, please continue to do this. And there's going to be a big lawsuit in this area. it was all over the news 2 months ago, and a little kiddie, he was 6 years old, and there was a Catholic school in this county. There's the Catholic church, but the school closed years ago, and that was because the priest was molesting. And this little kid, he was molested almost every day, and so he's now in his 40s, and he lives in Florida, and he's suing the Nashville diocese, Murfreesboro, big city next to Nashville diocese, 2 dioceses in New Jersey, same priest who's now dead, and he was moved every 2 years, and so he's not around anymore, but that lawsuit is a big one against the church, and they did nothing. They also in New York, coming up on this August, there's 1,300 people, and a few of them are ex-witnesses who are going to share a huge amount of money because the Catholic Church is settling for to pay all of the people that have sued them in New York State over the years for child molesting. And this one ex-witness who I've known for years, his settlement is going to be $250,000. And the church wants to clear all of that up. And I saw some material today on the news, and it's going to cost them millions and millions of dollars. But they want to do what's right. It's coming right out of the top, the Vatican, and they want they're taking the accountability they should have took years ago for all of this that has happened with the priests, the prelates molesting, and it was hidden, or the church knew about it and then they just didn't do anything about it. So there's a lot of changes in the scene of the world on what we're doing. And Watchtower made some ghastly mistakes by not following through. I'm not anti-Watchtower. I'm not anti anything. People have a right to believe what they want to believe. If it doesn't turn out they chose it. And religion is something that you can choose. So I'm really not anti-Watchtower or anti-Catholic. I am pro-accountability. And that is what the world is looking at now, pro-accountability. And so I know how many of your guests feel about the Watchtower. I can join in about stuff I learned about when I was there. Just people. I can say negative for hours. I can say positives too, but that's our own business. That's our own truth.
Well, what I was hoping to do, we haven't had you on for a while. So just a few things that I wanted to ask you about, at least inform you to see what you think about it. I believe it was back in April that the Watchtower came out in a magazine, the Watchtower magazine study edition, and they mentioned, Barbara, that for people who have been hanging on, many of us like you, myself, and we're out of the Watchtower now, but many our age have hung on for many years, they're still in there. And the Watchtower publication made reference to the fact that Armageddon may not be coming in their lifetime. Have you heard about that?
Well, there's just as much as most everybody else, but I don't have any inside information on it.
Well, I don't need inside information, but I'm just thinking in terms of how would you feel if you were still in the Watchtower and they came out with a statement like that?
Well, you know, uh, I could be like so many who remain because they love the beliefs or they have specific reasons for staying in, love the people. And then I could be someone else who wants out for certain reasons. My feelings were hurt, or I don't agree with their changes. These are the truths of everybody. They have their own truths on stuff. Me, I'm more, over the years, I'm more a fact person. So that's what happened when I was working on the Proclaimers book as a researcher. I was learning facts about the history of the Watchtower that didn't quite fit what I thought. And the 18th and 19th century of the movement of millenarianism in the United States was great, with George Store's movement and some of the others, and the Miller movement. And I think that if I hadn't left the witnesses the way I did, I would eventually have left it over 1975. And 1975 was the belief of, and the whole structure of the teaching was Freddie Franz. And that's why the Awake editor, he told me when Freddie became the president of the Watchtower, while I was at Bethel, he was, the Awake editor was very angry, and he went in to see the governing body that was over the writing department, Lloyd. And he said to Lloyd, why in the world would you make this man president who caused 500,000 people to leave the organization with the 1975 teaching? See, what makes one person leave and others, they stay, even though 1975 didn't bring anything. So what can you say about all of that? To each his own. I have settled down over the last few years. I'm an advocate against the harmful practices and policies of the Watchtower, because they harm. I can't be against people's choices or non-choices of religion. It's just too varied. But I don't condemn people who stay or go, because I'm in another ballpark on all of this. We have to get the situation internationally straightened out on children. They are at risk. And unless somebody, all the states there's only like 9 states in the United States that even requires to have child abuse reported to the police, mandated reporting to the police after someone who's a molester goes to the priest or a minister and confesses child abuse. That's penitent privilege doctrine. I want to see it gone. I'll spend day and night trying to see that gone, because look, penitent privilege, any sin you have, you can go to a holy man and get it forgiven. And am I going to try to get rid of a doctrine that millions, billions of people are involved with, even Buddhists and that kind of thing? No. They have a right to believe whatever they want to, but they don't have a right to harm. That's the issue here. But regarding penitent privilege now, I want to see the change made, just like school teachers and doctors have. And when they find out that a child is molested, they have to report it to the authorities. So any man or woman that goes to the holy man and confesses, and he wants forgiveness for what he did to a child, our laws, every state should mandate that that holy man has to report it to the authorities.
Well, amen to that, Barbara. But, in fact, I agree with you 100% on that. But, I haven't talked to you for a while, and I'm glad you're with us tonight. Excuse me one second. But I wanted to bring up the fact now when Epstein.
I got that Epstein thing, Sarah Keller. Is that what you're going to talk about, Sarah?
What I was going to say is when all this was coming out about Epstein, that must have ruffled your feathers a little bit. Did you think that Watchtower might have been somehow involved with this? I mean, what were you thinking when the Epstein files were released to some degree?
I didn't have access to any of the congressional hearings on it until last week. And that's the one where Sarah Kellen, she appeared before the Congress, a certain group of Congress people, and she took the whole introduction into her questioning was regarding her being raised as a Jehovah's Witness. And she was initially, I read I'll send you, and you could post it, that you could, it's like 150 pages of her, the transcript, but about the first 30 is about being a Jehovah's Witness and how she was disfellowshipped. Her parents turned against her because of I believe the initial thing that she did, she was a youngster, and one of the witness men had sex with her. She was like 13 or something like that. And eventually, she wasn't that old when she was disfellowshipped, but it was the witnesses. In fact, a point here to make is this: said she was disfellowshipped, and the reasons for it went to the Watchtower Society. It could have been 20, 30 years ago. The requirement was that to fill out that one particular paper when they were disfellowshipped. Anybody was put down why they were disfellowshipped. Then it was put in that notorious blue envelope, which was just an envelope that was that color. When it came in the mail, it went to a desk, a specific desk, and writing and service department, and then was filed in the congregation file. So the envelope had a special place to go to, and in that paper that each congregation had to fill out, or the elders had to fill out, is the reason for the disfellowshipping. If the Congress wants to know more about child molestation in Jehovah's Witness organization and how a little child, a youngster like her, got disfellowshipped, shunned, or whatever, they should ask, Congress should ask in a nice way to the Watchtower to turn the dial over to them, and then they can read it themselves. So that's really my introduction to, because I heard rumors that there was a witness involved, but the rest of the pages, like 120 pages, is really her description of working and having sex with these people. I mean, it wasn't only the one man, and then her life today and so forth.
Well, that's good. Know that you at least saw that, and you were following that, because I was thinking that maybe some of the Watchtower elite people were involved, but they seem to be cleared from that. But
Yeah,
some other things that I wanted to get your feelings on in the Watchtower. Now we know recently, it was back in March 21st to be exact, we had Garrett Loesch, a governing body member, that made a announcement on his broadcasting, on the Watchtower broadcasting channel, that now you could take blood transfusions, and well, not really take blood transfusions, but you could use your own blood. You could take the blood out and then refuse it into you. Well, what do you feel about that, Barbara?
Well, they made a big mistake about that. That was a dietary law for animals. They made a lot of mistakes in belief. And why they're rectifying it now, I can only guess, and that's because people are leaving the organization. And also, some of these men that are being made governing bodies, part of the governing body, they're very individualistic. I mean, they're just not men who have nothing to say. These men, each one of them came out of the organization with power. And so they throw their weight around just like they did when I was there. So you know that they all don't get along 100%. I could talk an hour or two on some of the kind of dissent amongst them when I was there, when the rate of growth was the largest this organization had ever seen. And they were the silly arguments or opinions. Schroeder was a very opinionated man, and he was a father. And you know that most of those governing body, well, as far as I know, he was the only one that was a father. Oh, one of them was a father, but had married a woman that had 2 children. That was Swingle. But Swingle was kind of neutral. He didn't really get in the fighting mode. Jairus was always in a fight mode. I mean, all their personalities were there just like they are today. So you can picture them behind the scenes doing their thing and expressing their opinions. If people want to live under that kind of arrangement, that's their business. I chose it for a long time. And then due to circumstance, I saw things that many people didn't. But, you know, what can you say? I hear people to talk to you and how they feel about the teachings of Jehovah's Witnesses and so forth. I won't take sides. I won't, because there's just as many people that love it, and that's their business. And I have to feel that way. Otherwise, I'd be a perpetual nervous wreck about people's opinions. And I care more about the children who should have a right to a happy life. And the stupidity, if anything gets me, it's the stupidity of a bunch of men who could have easily, in such a simple way, had changed policy and practice, and the kids would have never had so much horror happen to them by very, very wicked people that came in the organization, just like us coming in to the other organizations. And I sent you a link, and it's to something that I hope you will show that link. I want to ask everybody, if you get a chance, to read this interview to this link. It is on the Mormon Church and the Seventh-day Adventists. And when you watch this link, let me tell you a little background to it. This man wrote me to my website, and he sent me a link to an interview. And he said, I'm being sued by the Mormon Church. He said, I'm a Mormon, and I do Mormon stories on the internet for quite a while. In fact, I even put a link to some of his Mormon stories, you know, telling ooky stuff about the Mormons. So I looked at it, and I didn't read much of it because it was quite long, the interview was. And so then he wrote me, and I decided to watch the interview. Well, it was so extraordinary. Part 1 is there. It's interesting. Wait till you read part 2. You'll talk about it, and you won't talk about Jehovah's Witnesses because the stuff that was brought out there, and this woman is exposing the Seventh-day Adventists. You know what they have practiced and practiced and practiced for years. I did not know that a female mutilation, and when you hear them explain the horror in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which I had no idea, you will think, oh, well, the witnesses, as far as sexually, it's masturbation years ago that they were all about, you know. But when you hear what that practices out of these other churches, you can't believe it. But I was sat there and my eyes big on this. I wrote an article for the Awake magazine on the topic of the female, the mutilation of women and children. Well, the children, it's actually as a child. When the child's first born, the clitoris is cut off. And it was an African an article that was supposedly came out of Africa. And anyway, I wrote it though. And so I figured that was an African horror, but it isn't. It's in a great big American church. And they're revealing this stuff on the internet, just like the witnesses are revealing some of the crackpot notions of Jehovah's Witnesses in the name of religion.
Well, Barbara, I got the link. The link is up on, if you go to the YouTube description box here, the 6 screens, I got the link up there on that. So yeah, that's a horrifying thing. These religions are getting away with murder, female mutilation, sexual perversion,
female genital mutilation. I wrote the man and I said, I want to. He's got a manager, and because he has these regular Mormon exposures. He says the Mormon church is dying all over the world. He gave the figure of how many Mormon people are very tired of the Mormon church, but not the Seventh-day Adventists. And if anything, the Seventh-day Adventists say they ought to be arrested. The general idea here for them is that all girls, when they are born, they are mutilated. So when they grow up, none of them have any feeling for sex. How do you like that? How do you like to think that that they, in the name of God, they remove something that apparently God put on women or in women or wear on, whatever, but she explains it, and other things they explain. Well, the Mormon church is suing the guy for exposing the Mormon stuff. And I learned not too long ago that most of the FBI people, I learned this in National Magazine, by the way, most of the FBI are Mormons. So, or I don't know under Trump, but they definitely were under the other administration. So religion really has a handle all over the place.
Well, what they're doing right now, Barbara, in many religions, the Mormon church. Now, you mentioned last night, I'm not sure, we might have to fact check it, but you were thinking that there's only 400,000?
That's what I believe. That's what he said. But you'll hear, because he mentions it, and I only watched it once. But like I said, it is interesting. The part one is definitely interesting, but part two, my eyes were big like this when I heard what goes on in that church. And
well, we got the link up for those to see. It goes 6 screens. The YouTube description box will have it. But Barbara, I have to tell you, what's going on right now? There's a lot of deconstructing. That's the term that's being used in religion. People are figuring things out. They no longer want to follow some of this. The whole belief system is being shattered because of all of these crazy thoughts and changes, not only in the Watchtower, but other religions as well. So we see so many religions losing their grip. But, I know you have feelings toward the Watchtower. I understand you were there for many years, and there's a lot of good people that you met. But so many people, Barbara, have been really hurt.
They
But
have.
but
I know. And I can't do anything about it. The
no,
Watchtower is to blame, just as these other religions are to blame. The Catholic Church has been protecting um, prelates who are molesters for centuries. The very teachings of Jehovah's Witnesses regarding sin and crime were adopted from the Catholic Church. When the Jehovah's Witnesses became a religion, 1954, they legally became a religion. And it was then that they adopted the teaching of reporting this whole issue on crime, not reporting crime, and saying it's a sin. That came right out of the Catholic Church. And I have the history of it. I have the court case it came from. I became a witness in October of 1954, in November, in a prime case in Scotland. That was when the Watchtower, and you can read the transcript of the case, and that's where Covington and also friends, and they all admit lying, and they say that they would lie again so they could all speak in unison. That's where the teaching that has caused the biggest problem in Jehovah's Witnesses is to report when you know that somebody in the organization has sinned, and you go and you report it to the elder, and it could be child molestation, and it was treated as a sin, not a crime. And there's so much information on this alone that should hang the Watchtower. Freddie Franz was at that hearing. Covington was there. The secretary treasurer, who I knew, but I can't ever remember his name. And so you had the directors of the corporation. That's when the 501c3, in that actual time, that's when Jehovah's Witnesses adopted the 501c3, which is a nonprofit. They became a nonprofit organization, and legally could be called a religion, because up to that point, Rutherford refused to call Jehovah's Witness a religion. Religion is a snare and racket, all up to 1954.
well, there you go. So, Barbara, another thing. In fact, I just got an email here from a person that's listening into the program, and she's a professor of AI, of course, artificial intelligence.
I know a lot about that. That's for sure.
Yeah, she's a former Jehovah's Witness. But I wanted to bring up what's going on here as of late, and whether it's Watchtower operatives or whoever it would be. We have some AI generated videos that are showing up on YouTube and Facebook and what have you. But, just this week, my wife Susan and I were coming back from Illinois, and we stayed at a hotel. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, she was going through her phone and looking at things. And she woke me up. She says, "Rick, you are being exposed on a YouTube." And I'm saying, "What?" So she woke me up. I was half asleep, of course. So she woke me up. And I'm going to play a clip from this. But the reason why I'm doing this, Barbara, I wanted to just explain. See, people can do things today to really exploit you. They can do things and say things that aren't even true. So I want to just play a little clip of this.
Yeah. Last week, somebody called me while I was so sick, and they called me an adulteress. I said, when did I have time to become an adulteress? Married 65 years to Joe Anderson. I mean, I know what you're talking about. And so,
well, I'm wondering who's doing this, whether it's Watchtower operatives or ex-witnesses that have just trying to, get some traction here. I'm not sure, but I'm going to play this. And, and get your thoughts. Now, I'm just going to warn the audience. They come out in this video and they're saying that I am a multimillionaire, which I'm not. They're saying that I'm a Harvard graduate, which I'm not. I never even graduated from college, to be honest with you. They're saying that I'm the manager of an asset firm company. It's just crazy stuff. But anyways, I mean, some stuff is good, but it's not. I want the audience to know. I just wanted to bring it up tonight. It's not truthful. So let me share something with you. You might get a kick out of this.
Sure.
Today, we show you the evidence they hope you never see. 2006, George W. Bush was president. YouTube was only 1 year old, and Rick Fearon registered a domain name, 6screensofthewatchtower.com. At first, it looked like a blog, a place for an ex-Jehovah's Witness to post his thoughts. But within months, it became something much bigger. Fearon started publishing internal Watchtower documents, letters from elders, policies that the average Jehovah's Witness never sees. He analyzed court cases. He broke down the religion's legal defenses. And then he added something strange: phone numbers. He called it the 6 Screens Telenetwork, international dial-in lines, anonymous, no names required. Every week, people from countries like Japan, Australia, and Nigeria call in. They share their stories. They ask questions. They cry. One former witness told us, "It was the first time I said my real thoughts out loud without being shunned." Fearon's platform grew slowly. For years, the Watchtower ignored him. He was just another critic. But then something changed. In 2025, nearly 20 years after the domain was registered, Fearon organized a convention. Yes, a convention. Former Jehovah's Witnesses gathered in person to heal and share experiences. The Watchtower took notice, and they started warning their members. But here is what they did not say. The domain is paid through November 2026. Fearon is not going anywhere. And he has something else, something that makes him different from every other ex-member: money, a lot of it.
Oh.
While he runs this campaign, he is also sitting on corporate boards worth millions. Why does it matter?
Oh my God.
Fearon is not your typical activist. Most people who leave high-control groups struggle financially. They lose their community, their jobs, sometimes their families. Fearon lost none of that. After Harvard, he worked at the Walt Disney Company, then Transamerica. Then he became vice chairman and chief financial officer of Eaton Corporation, a power management giant with over $20 billion in annual revenue. He stayed at Eaton for nearly 2 decades, 19 years. During that time, he also founded a hedge fund called Accretive Capital Partners. His job? Taking over small companies and rebuilding them. Today, public filings show Fearon owns over $163 million in stock, most of it from Waters Corporation, where he sits on the board. He is also a director for CRH plc, Avient Corporation, and Crown Holdings. And get this, in September 2025, he became a senior advisor to Ripplewood Holdings, a private investment firm. So here is the contradiction. By day, Fearon is a billionaire-adjacent corporate insider. By night, he runs a website that calls Jehovah's Witnesses a destructive cult. He is also a trustee of the Cleveland Clinic, one of the best hospitals in the world. How does one man balance board meetings, billion-dollar decisions, and a 20-year war against a global religion? The answer might surprise you, because Fearon is not emotional about this. He's strategic. And that strategy has a name: the Telenetwork. But not everyone agrees it helps. Some say it hurts. Wait until you hear the criticism. Old newspaper clipping. The Lowell Sun, April 13th, 2006. Headline: Man Protests Jehovah's Witness Teachings. We went back to the beginning, 2006, the same year Fearon registered his website. A local Massachusetts newspaper called the Lowell Sun published an article. In it, Rick Fearon stood outside a Jehovah's Witness convention. He held a sign, and he told a reporter 3 specific things. First, shunning. Fearon said Jehovah's Witnesses force families to cut off all contact with relatives who leave or are disfellowshipped. Parents cannot talk to their own children. Brothers and sisters become strangers. Second, blood transfusions. The Watchtower teaches that accepting a blood transfusion is a sin worse than murder. Members have died refusing life-saving medical care. Fearon called this dangerous and unnecessary. Third, child sexual abuse. This is the most painful one. Fearon told the newspaper that the Watchtower discourages reporting abuse to police. Instead, elders handle it internally. 2 witnesses are required to take action, a rule that makes conviction nearly impossible when the crime happens in secret. Text fades in. 2-witness rule with a red X. These were not new accusations, but Fearon was one of the first ex-members to say them publicly, on the record in a mainstream newspaper. And the Watchtower did not sue him. Why? Because he had proof. Court documents, letters, policies that the organization later admitted were real. But here is where the story twists. Some people who left Jehovah's Witnesses do not trust Fearon. They say he goes too far. They say he twists the facts. One person even called him a liar in Danish. Ex-vitne og løgner. Ex-witness and liar. Why would other survivors turn on him? Dark screen with faint text, sensationalist, creepy, liar, appearing one by one. If you spend time in online communities for former Jehovah's Witnesses, you will find a fight. And in that fight, Rick Fearon is not the hero. For some, he is the villain. Here's what his critics say. First, he sensationalizes. They accuse him of taking real Watchtower problems, shunning, abuse, blood, and blowing them up for attention. One person wrote that Fearon makes things seem much creepier than they already are. Second, his presentation. The 6 Screens website has a dark, dramatic style. Some call it cultish in itself. They say it scares away people who are still questioning their faith. Third, factual disputes. A detractor labeled him an ex-vitne og løgner, Danish for ex-witness and liar. They claim Fearon misrepresents Watchtower doctrine, mixing old teachings with new ones to create confusion. Even some prominent ex-JW activists have distanced themselves. They say Fearon's methods hurt the cause. They prefer quiet documentation, not dramatic exposés. But here's what those critics rarely mention. Fearon has been right about many things. The Watchtower later changed policies he attacked. They admitted to failures he highlighted. And his website has helped thousands of people leave safely. So who is correct? The answer is not simple, but there is one group that definitely does not like him, and they have power. The Watchtower itself. And they have a surprising weapon against him. His own past. A legal document being stamped confidential. Jehovah's Witnesses do not publicly attack individual critics. Their official policy is to ignore apostates. But behind the scenes, it is a different story. Court records show that the Watchtower has monitored Fearon's website for years. Internal letters, leaked by former elders, instruct members to avoid his content and report anyone who shares it. But they cannot stop him, because Fearon is careful. Everything he publishes comes from public sources, court documents, news articles, Watchtower publications themselves. He does not break laws, he does not hack, he just organizes information. And that is more dangerous than any lie. In fact, Fearon was invited to speak through the OSCE, a major international human rights organization. A video exists of him discussing a human rights activist and the Watchtower's treatment of dissenters. The Watchtower cannot erase that video. They cannot sue the OSCE. They can only tell their members to look away. But here is the problem for Firon. Even with all his money and connections, his audience is limited. Most Jehovah's Witnesses will never see his work, and those who do often dismiss him as bitter. So Firon tried something new, something that almost no other critic had attempted. He built a phone network, anonymous, global, and that network is still active today. What happens on those calls? We found people who joined. What they told us is not what you expect. An old rotary phone ringing, fade to a blurry silhouette of a person speaking. Every week at scheduled times, a phone number goes live. People from different countries dial in. No video, no names, just voices. This is the Six Screens telenetwork. Firon does not host every call. Volunteers do, but the structure is always the same. First, a short presentation, then the line opens for anyone to speak. One former attendee who asked us not to use her name described it like this. I sat in my car. I dialed the number. My hands were shaking. And then a woman from Australia started talking about her mother who stopped speaking to her 15 years ago. I cried. Then I talked. No one judged me. Map showing call routes from Nigeria, Japan, UK, Australia, USA. The calls are not recorded. There is no official transcript. That is by design. Firon wants total anonymity. But critics say this is a problem. Without oversight, they argue, the calls can become echo chambers of anger, people feeding each other's pain instead of healing. Firon disagrees. He says the calls save lives, literally. He has claimed that suicidal witnesses called in and got help. We cannot verify that. No one can. And that is the tension. The telenetwork helps some, but it also operates in complete darkness. No therapists, no mandated reporters, just people and their trauma. Calendar showing November 2026, a question mark. The domain expires in November 2026. If Firon does not renew it, the website and the phone lines could disappear overnight. Will he renew, or is this the end? Before we answer that, we need to clear up a confusion. Because if you search Rick Firon online, you might find someone completely different. 3 different faces. If you type Rick Firon into Google, you will see more than one person, and mixing them up could ruin your understanding of this story. First, there is Ricky Firon, an actor. He appeared in Torchwood and Doctor Who, 2 famous British TV shows. He also had a role in the film Boxing Day. Ricky Firon is not related to our subject. He has nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses, but his face might show up in search results. Ignore it. Second, there is Richard Firon, no K. He was the CEO of Leeds Building Society in the United Kingdom. He stepped down in June 2025 after 7 years. This Richard Firon led a major financial institution. He also restricted mortgage lending on holiday homes in tourist areas. Important work, but not our story. Third, and this is the one you want, Richard H. Rick Firon, the Harvard graduate, the Disney and Eaton executive, the founder of 6 Screens of the Watchtower. He is the only Firon who has spent 20 years fighting the Jehovah's Witnesses. So why does this matter? Because the Watchtower has used this confusion before. When members search for Rick Firon online, they might find the actor or the banker instead of the critic. It is a small trick, but it works. Now that you know who is who, we can ask the final question. What happens next? The domain expires in November 2026. Firon is 70 years old. Will he keep fighting, or is he preparing to walk away? The answer may surprise you, and it is the subject of our final 2 sections.
Well, there you go, Barbara. I want
Wow.
so,
Guys, I've known you for so many years and you never told me all this.
hold on 1 second.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So what's your opinion?
Well, my opinion really is it's a lie. It really is. I don't know who did this. I don't know if they're trying to really discredit uh, almost everything. I mean, some things were good. Some things were good. We do have a network where people do call in from around the world. That's true. But Barbara, the idea of me being a millionaire, a Disney executive, that's all made up. And
Yeah.
this domain name, it's not running out. I renew it all the time. We're not going to lose that. And I'm not 70. I'm 79 actually. So I don't know where they got that either. So I just wanted to let the audience, I didn't want to bore people with it all, but you might see that coming across on YouTube. It's totally false. It's incorrect. But see, Papa, that's what people can do today.
That's right.
That
I
that's
know. Yeah.
that's what they've done to you when you're an adulteress. And see,
Yeah.
this is what that's an AI generated YouTube video, and that can create some serious problems because there's people going to walk away and believe all that. You know.
Well, it's not just you, it's everybody who has a name is getting attacked one way or another. So, and it isn't just me. This whole AI thing is changing fast and is causing remarkable currents in all societies. Uh, uh, we get disgusted with all of this, but there's nothing we can do about it.
No, nothing we do. We got a person. Maverick, do you want to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Rick. Yeah, look, it's very, very good that you put the video on. I'll tell you why. We know that the truth is not frightened of scrutiny. When you know it's a lot of baloney, you don't have to worry about putting it on there and just like, look, this is what they're saying. This is something that Watchtower would never, ever do. They would never do this. Like, put the critics in front of the camera and say, oh, look what they're saying about us. You make your own mind up. Make your own mind up rather than do this. So it's fantastic you put it on. But I actually think this could be an inside operative, a false flag event. It could be something like false apostates supposedly talking about stuff that's against the Watchtower, but then they're putting they're digging at you. And you know the saying where it says the lie goes halfway around the world before the truth puts its shoes on. That's what I think will happen. It's just an attempt, I think, to get unaware people to say, "Oh, don't listen to that Rick Ferrin. He's one of those crooks. He's got, So it will work on some people if this is a tactic. But I think this is a tactic from a drunken Bethelite or something like that. Anyway, and nice to see you as well, Barbara.
Well, Bob.
Get well soon.
Thank you, man. Well, Barbara knows too. She's been attacked numerous times. We all have been, and it's kind of a shame. But Barbara, even yourself, you put up with a lot too, a lot of baloney. But what do you believe today? Geez,
How can we have answers for this when the people who are in the world have no answers for this? They're as upset over it as we are, in different directions though than we are. We just have to. I've used AI actually over the past 20-something years. I've been writing a book about the Russells, and I've talked to you, Russell. Rick, I've talked to you about my book. I can't seem to finish it. I have tons of material on it. So just recently, as an experiment, we fed many chapters into AI, Claude, and within 5 minutes, I want to tell you, it was extraordinary. Everything I fed in was put in the proper place, proper order, which I would have had to do. And the miscellaneous, I have so much miscellaneous to deal with regarding them, the Russells. And so put it in the right place. It was so interesting reading what AI did. In my case, I was very impressed. But when you're being attacked, and I don't know why I'm not being attacked by Watchtower. I have never been attacked to any great degree by Watchtower all these years. And I kind of think it's because they don't know what I've got and they don't want it out there.
Well, you might have a point with that, Barbara. It's crazy. Hey, listen, we've got Susan. Did you want to say something? We got some callers coming in. Susan, did you want to come on?
Oh, that's quite. Well, I'd like to hear what others have to say, Rick.
Yeah.
I just wanted to wish Barbara get well soon, and I'm glad she has good care. And I know that you're not running Disney, because if you were running Disney, you wouldn't have that janky board. You'd have a call screener, and your studio would have little Twinkie lights.
Well, hey,
what you don't know about me, though, is I actually own Paramount, and I have dancing lewdly with champagne.
Well, that's what it's coming to. Well, what it is, you know, it's I talk to Susan about this all the time. How do you know you're getting the truth anywhere today?
That's exactly right.
Really, how do you know what's going on? What's truthful? Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, we've known you, Rick, for such a long time, and I know some of the stuff that's going on there. For instance, about Ray Friends, there's one big, long dissertation on Ray Friends. Half the stuff in there is not true, and the man who's putting it out acts like he's in favor of Ray Friends. But I know that because personally, I know the truth of some of the things that are discussed in that.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, what it does is you suspect everything. Everybody's suspecting everybody because half truths are very hard to disprove. Much more so than a genuine lie.
Wow, you got it. Hey, let's see what Constance or Dick, you on there? What did you want to say?
Yeah, thank you, Rick. I think I've known you really, really quite well over the last 20, 25 years. And a lot of that stuff, because I know your life and you know mine, that stuff is all just BS. You know, what if it's Disney? I mean, if you've got all those billions of dollars, please buy me a Ferrari. Make it blue. I like a blue color. What I'd like the audience to know is that over the last 20 years, you've spent probably an average of $500 to $600 a month to keep the 6 screens alive. You've never asked a penny from anybody. Conversely, you'll tell people, don't send me money. Who else does that? You run a convention in Boston, you drop $25,000 of your own money for that, and yet you tell people, don't send me any money. I'm just putting this out there because you never would. You'll never blow your own horn, and you'll never say what a great guy you are, and all people that you saved from committing suicide. I know about it because I asked you, and you always tell me the truth, but you would never put that stuff on 6 screens, which is too humble for that. So when I hear all this AI BS, I say, oh my God. And I just want the audience to know, me and Connie love doing our program on 6 screens. We don't get paid for it. Anne-Marie doesn't get paid for it. Nobody gets paid for it. And being on 6 screens is the best way to get rid of the PTSD that all Southern Jehovah's Witnesses have. They probably don't realize they have it, but they absolutely have it. 6 screens has been a blessing to many, many people. Richard has been a blessing to a lot of people. And there's millions of hours where Rick could be sitting home having a beer watching a football game, and he's taking calls from distressed people. And that happens all the time. So when I see this stuff that Rick Farron is a multi-millionaire, because all I can say to that is, make it a blue Ferrari.
Well, Dick, I'll take you out to lunch for those good comments. Thank you. Let's go
they do one on me and make me look like Marilyn Monroe or something.
Well, they're gonna wait till you see the ones coming out. They got you in shots, Barbara. They do.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Hey, let's go to 602. 602, you run with us. Go ahead.
Oh, man.
I don't know if you checked your phone, but I kind of do believe a lot of that video, Gilbert, and I asked you if you could please give me a loan. We talked about that later. We go back a long way, I think. Remember good old Eric. Eric, he's created struggle. And anybody else, back in especially like in 2016, when a lot of people were leaving the Watchtower, people like you, struggle. I've talked to him and a couple of other people that opened up their phone line. Anybody who's opened up their phone line knows that comment about the suicide is true. You have to have done it. Unless, but when you actually talk to people, daily, and because Jehovah's Witnesses have nowhere to go, you can't call Watchtower talk. Then you actually know, oh my God, there are a lot of people who have those tendencies or have those feelings, and they're just confused. So they were right. But I like I said, I do agree with the video a little bit, and we'll talk later about the money.
Well, the thing is, in fact, that's exactly what Susan said when we first saw that. We're laying in bed there in the hotel, and 4 o'clock in the morning, and this comes across. I'm going, oh my God. So she's thinking, geez, Rick, people are going to be hitting you up for money, So that's...
No. Why are we not in a rat?
Well, we don't go. What are you gonna do when you're in the Motel 6? I don't think multi-millionaires stay there.
It gives you something to talk about on 6 screens. You ought to be delighted. Otherwise, what are you going to talk about? They're giving you a script. When you run out of ex-witnesses, you start putting all that beautiful stuff about your money on there. And, you can make this into a joke. We can take lemons and we turn it into lemonade.
Lemonade, you got it, Barbara. Yeah, yes, Gilbert.
Rick will know if it's true if you roll up in a 16th of the Cadillac.
Yeah. Well, I got a kick out of it. It made me sound good, but this is what they're doing with AI.
Oh yeah.
And so, there are people. That's why I wanted to come on here tonight and put it perfectly clear that this is not correct. I mean, that video, not everything. Some things were good, but I mean, really, it's so people are willing to today. You don't know. People might pick that and say, "Geez, that guy's a multimillionaire." It sounds good, but it's just absolutely not.
I thought he came across with some things that were very flattering to you. Yeah.
Just got your name out there bigger than ever.
Well,
I mean, you really look handsome in some of the places.
Yeah, it didn't look too bad. It looked pretty good. Yeah. Well, Dick was we had Dick Borgie. He was we had a program years ago. It was called Eyes on the Watchtower, and it was done in a professional studio, and they took a lot of clips from that, which I thought was kind of odd, but they did that and they put that together, and it's just amazing to me that now you're going to question everything. I was thinking for a while. I mean, I do like AI. As a matter of fact, I just got a telephone call while we're doing this program here tonight from a woman who is a professor of AI. And she'll be coming on here, hopefully, with us in the next couple of weeks and talking about that. But it can be used for the good. It can be used for the bad. But I think what it could do here is whether these are operatives or drunken Bethelites, as Maverick was saying, or whoever these guys are, it could be them trying to discredit people. I don't think it's the Watchtower themselves. I wouldn't think to do something like that. But we'll just have to see what happens,
AI is being used by the Watchtower to write articles. It's very obvious AI. I've compared it. I've talked to some of the ex-JWs who are in the writing department. They don't even have to keep a big staff of writers like they did years ago. because the AI articles are very simple in the very few magazines that come out. So, you're only getting one new Watchtower a year and one new, I believe, awake. And then you get two Watchtowers that are old, have been printed before. This is a very wonderful thing for organizations like religions like Watchtower, because it is cut down on their expenses. So the staff, they don't need the staff that they used before. So we'll learn more about this as time goes on, and certain things come out, and then eventually they turn on organizations like a snake. Nothing remains the same as the years go by in our century. Years and years ago, things were the same old stuff. Now, every day, there's something that we can criticize or wonder about. So we could look at this as in a different matter, like you do. You have a sense of humor about it. If they go farther and do something that is so awful to you, then this is what the world is considering about suing. They're going to have a lot of lawsuits. Look at all the children that are being influenced by AI, and multimillionaires using AI for bad. So just sit back and watch, and read and make good decisions for yourself to be happy. And don't spend a lot of time. I mean, I spend a lot of time when I didn't get injured, but I'm at this in an entirely different direction. Than they could say what they want about me. I could say what I want about those who are protecting the pedophiles and not the children. We can change the world, and people can get tired of this stuff. But everybody I spoke to in hospital, and I did speak, I spoke. I brought it up all the time, what I've been doing for 25 years. And I got to tell you, people are so appreciative. Pick a subject, pick a good subject, be useful. My mom, when she was dying and was standing there, the doctor and I was standing by her bed, and she only had a few hours left to live. And doctor told her that she couldn't be saved. And she looked at me and she said, that's all right. She said, I will go to my rest. She said, because I'm not useful anymore. And I turned to look at the doctor, and the tears were running from his eyes down his face. And it was she said, I wish I could be here to see what Barbara, your work was going to do. She said, this is 2006 when she died. You know what? I reflected on that as time went on. And I said, you know what? That's my motto. Be useful. Be useful while you're alive, and you'll have happiness.
Well, that's a good motto, Barbara. My goodness gracious. And you've been through a lot in the last few years, my goodness, with Joe and the hip problem that you had, and also the problem you had with the man that came and lived with you that scammed you.
Sure.
You've been through, but you still have a very good attitude, and your attitude is your altitude. Now, look, I don't want to keep you up too late here tonight, but I don't want you to be a stranger here, okay?
No.
I don't want you to know. We're going to be talking more and more. We're going to get you to get some more footprints on the 6 screens, because you have a lot to still tell us. And
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, do I ever? I haven't told some of the experiences that I had at headquarters. If they're not in books, I told one just recently, and in a private setting. And I got to tell you, it has to do with abortion. Nobody knows what I know about the Society Stand on Abortion. And these are the kind of things people ought to know about their organization, and make then a decision based on knowledge. And millions of women have come through the doors of the Watchtower and did not know what I am going to talk about, what the organization's teaching on abortion, something that turns religions inside out, marching in the streets over abortion. We're talking about religions. And they never, ever questioned and ever even thought about it. I didn't until when I was at the headquarters. And I found out when I was doing the research on the mutilation, that article, and when I found out what I did about the policy of the Watchtower on abortion, you all are going to be shocked.
Well, we're looking forward to that. Now we have a man right down there.
I see.
He's right down there from where you are, Tennessee. That's Junction Guy.
Hey.
So I think he probably wants to
Hi.
say hello. Yeah.
Hey.
Go ahead, John. Well, what do you want to say, Junction Guy?
I just want to say hello to Barbara, and I hope you're recovering well and continue to recover well. Sorry to hear about your accident.
Thank you. I appreciate that. As long as my mouth keeps going, I'm happy.
What's that?
As long as my mouth can keep going, I'm happy.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to say hi. I haven't spoken to you in years. It's been years since I spoke.
It has been. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we won't call it a day, okay? We will call it a beginning of the beginning and continuation of an old friendship that's a new friendship, okay?
All righty.
Okay.
Well, Junction Guy was one of the first people that I met really on JWN. He was one of the original writers on there. And now he's a fan of the 6 screens, and we're so glad to always have Junction Guy with us. Well, he tells it like it is. He's a former Jehovah's Witness, and he's had difficulties with this organization too, Barbara. But he's a real gentleman, and we're glad to have him part of the 6 screens. Okay, yep.
Hey, I want to say, Junction Guy, contact me. I'm very serious about this. I'm in the process and have been for quite a while on the project, and I sure would like to share it with you, and I will share it with others, but I'd like it because you're a man of activity in this matter, and so I would like to share some of the ideas that are coming my way, and for the future, I'll run stuff by Rick and whatever, and let's make some. Let's have some input on the way that we can be very constructive and helpful, not only to Jehovah's Witnesses, but also to the other religions that I was talking about. They got big problems, empty pews, their worlds are falling apart. And it's all from the same or similar reasons. So we can be useful to a lot of people if we have the time and the inclination to do it.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Well, Junction Guy, you look really good tonight. You really do. You got a nice haircut there. You got a nice mustache. You kind of have that Tom Selleck look, you know.
Oh.
You're looking good. Well, thank you for wanting to come on and say hello to Barbara. Thank you, Junction.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So where do you live?
Knoxville.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm outside of Nashville.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we have a lot in common, and I see Diamond Dave is there too. My goodness.
How are you guys doing?
Right.
Good. How you doing, Diamond Dave? So you want to come on? What do you want to say? Something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to chat in and just kind of chime in on the conversation. So I was not a Jehovah's Witness. I'm actually an ex-Mormon. And some of the people here know me from other XJW channels that I float around on. They I don't know, they just popped up on my feed a few months ago, and here I'm in this part of the community now, I guess, because there are so many similarities between Mormonism and Jehovah's Witnesses. And we were actually talking about in the chat earlier because people were, I don't remember the full conversation, but like when it comes to the Epstein files and people were speculating the Watchtower being involved, that does not surprise me because it's already been proven that high level leaders of Mormons and Seventh-day Adventists are. And historically, they all those three originate from the same location or that general region of
That's right.
America
Same
around the same
period.
time. So,
Same period of time.
mhm.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you, the happiest thing that I can do for myself is to keep reading, researching, looking, because then you make sense out of all of this, or you try. But if I knew stuff, I have 2 books came out in the 80s on millenarianism. Boy, how interesting, written by scholars. And when you learn about that, you see exactly how all this came into our world during pre-Russell. And go back to the Enochian movement in the 14th century. That's where the name Watchtower originated. Imagine that. Yeah, you're shaking your head. Yeah. It is important to know that, how it got adopted by Russell the very year that George Storrs died. And he wrote a book called The Watchtower. And the word goes all the way back to the 14th century. Queen Elizabeth's spy, John Dee, he was responsible for Enochianism. People look at you like you're crazy when you start talking about this. This is history. This is fascinating. And it tells you the reason why we Jehovah's Witnesses became Jehovah's Witnesses, the way it became, especially adopting the name of Watchtower. So this is the fun of being an XJW, as far as I'm concerned. How about
Matt?
Well,
Matthew. I know Matthew. Matthew's a cool dude. I'm on a couple podcasts with Matthew, actually.
Well, good to be with you. Good to be with you, Rick and Barbara. Very grateful for your information. Yeah, I just was listening to the Enochian story and the John Dee, because the John Dee goes back quite far.
Yes.
But I first came across that 26 years ago. The four pillars of the Watchtower: earth, fire, air. Yeah, and they were speaking Enochian, and I couldn't understand the Enochian. I could understand the change of language, but they were performing the rituals at the annual general meeting, and the person who would save me the seat was Rudy Hartle. Do you know Rudy Hartle?
I'm not familiar.
Okay, so anyway, Rudy Hartle, Sydney Barber.
Of course.
Sydney Barber. So she would look after me.
Uh-huh. Really? Oh.
And yes, and so, but if you said that the John Dee ritual was taking place at the annual general meeting, and you spoke to most of the persons that were attendees, they just go, "You're a lunatic. What are you talking about?" Because they didn't have the knowledge. It was compartmentalized knowledge.
That's right. I mean, even the stuff on the Masons that are being delivered out there as Jehovah's Witnesses, were Russell was a Mason. And when you start looking and really looking, you find out the whole story, not the little bitty parts of the story that they are gluing together. And then it makes sense. Because it's another, like Enochianism, like the Watchtower. It was the worship of angels. And it was an element. Watchtower was an element. But if you just hear someone like me just gabbing about it, and you don't see the whole picture, you're missing out. You're missing history that is so fascinating, and it has changed your life, and you don't know why. You don't know. You blame Russell, or George Storrs or somebody like that, and but see the whole picture. It's so, I have found it's a most glorious time of my life in the past, since I've really gone into the historic issues, to look at this from a different direction. And it's very freeing, isn't it?
Thank you, Barbara, for backing up that story, and thank you, Matthew, because it was my understanding that the OTO Lodge in New York said agape all the time with the Agape Lodge, and you know that we used to say at the end of letters, agape, and I knew that there was this Watchtower occult connection, and you have reinforced it along with what Matthew just noted. So thank you very much.
Well, don't stop there.
Well, in fact, I want to go into Diamond Dave. Diamond Dave, Rick Farron had 6 screens. Diamond, so you were a Mormon, is that correct?
Correct. I joined in 2020 and left approximately like 2024-ish.
Now, is the Mormon religion losing a lot of people right now?
It's collapsing. It is outright collapsing.
I told Rick, and he couldn't believe it. I said, if you watch this what I said before, and watch that interview by this Mormon who is being sued by the Mormon Church, and I gave Rick the link. You watch that. He said, like, in the whole world, there's only like 400,000 Mormons left. They're just leaving by.
It's 4 million active Mormons, right? They claim 17 million, but based on the statistics and everything, there's about 4 million active Mormons.
Yeah, maybe it was 4 million rather than 400. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they're virtually non-existent where I live. I live in Mongolia, same with Jehovah's Witnesses. And ever since I discovered like kind of this section, the XJW side of things, I've been doing a deep dive into like how Mongolian law and just different countries treat Jehovah's Witnesses in general, because it's very different here than the US. So
are you in Mongolia now, Diamond Dave?
Correct. I moved here. I'm in the process of getting my residency and then citizenship.
In Mongolia? Wow. Is it cold? Is it cold?
Yeah, I mean, I like the cold, but it gets in winter. We've had -75 below zero.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now we also have Matthew there. Matthew, you're out in South Africa, right?
Yeah, that's right. Cape of Good Hope Peninsula, Rick.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. But you know what I'm finding here is that the word is deconstruct. That's the word that's going on in many religions right now. They're deconstructing. Well, why would you say the Mormon religion, Diamond Dave, is deconstructing?
Sorry, let me quick respond to something and then I'll answer that question. So
Sure.
Nate asked if I was a true mind-controlled Mormon, and this is where one of the differences between Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons. Many people join for social reasons. I was one of those people, right? So it's not like people who join converts. I don't know how it is with like JWs, but with Mormons, very few people statistically join because they actually believe it. Most people join off of campaigns like, I'm so-and-so, I am a Mormon, the I am a Mormon campaigns, right? And a lot of people join either for community or to add to their spirituality or for business connections, right? So, it's not really the same. And from what it sounds like in Mormonism, there's a little bit more leeway to ask questions than in the Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Because like if you look at Fair Mormon or other like Mormon apologetics, they invite questions and they have all these groups to help people who are questioning or who are struggling. From what little I've heard, that doesn't exist in Jehovah's Witnesses. Also, Jehovah's Witnesses seem like, even though they're making changes, they're staying core to their doctrine. But Mormonism is trying to be mainstream Christian, right? And one of the interesting ways you can tell this is if you get on Google Maps, the angel Moroni, right? The gold angel with the trumpet, that's actually being removed from Google Maps on many sites around the world and in the US, and is being replaced by a cross.
Wow.
Right. So that's part of why people are leaving. And then I'm sorry, what was your question, Rick?
Well, I'll go with this question here. I would like to always know this. I always wanted to know it. I talked to some Mormon, but can never get a straight answer. But of course, the Jehovah's Witnesses, we all know they shun. Now, if you are to leave, now you would be considered right now, I guess they'd consider you an apostate of the Mormon religion. Would they shun you, Diamond Dave?
So this is where it gets complicated. An apostate is someone who leaves and is seen to be bitter or speaks out about the church. There is a church term called inactive, right? So I technically would be apostate because I speak out against the Mormon church. However, there are many people who just leave the church. They just go and live their lives. They don't care. They are considered inactive Mormons. Do they shun people? They do, but it's not so much explicit. It's not like necessarily a commandment. It's more surface level cultural where you just won't be invited to things anymore. Or if people reach out to you, like they'll try and help you with your problems just so you will come back to the church, but they don't like outright cut all ties with you unless you go like full apostate.
Wow. Now, as far as the governing body, yeah, we have a call. Okay, go ahead, caller. Come on in, caller.
Can I say something before she does?
Hold on, Barbara, 1 second. Let's bring this person in. Go ahead. You're on the phone. Go ahead, miss.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, thank you to Barbara and Rick and everybody here tonight. This shunning business, I thought this is fascinating. I was just, because I'm moving, I'm chucking out lots of things. Well, I found the disorganized to do Jehovah's Will book, and I set fire to it, but not before writing down something very interesting on page 154. So it says, when it is necessary to disfellowship an unrepentant wrongdoer from the congregation, a brief announcement is made, simply stating so-and-so is no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. There is no need to elaborate. This will alert faithful members of the congregation to stop associating with that person. So there it is in black and white. There if you're faithful, you need to shun. But I was also thinking, I don't know if Barbara agrees, that can actually be used. This I think is why the Watchtower have won cases, because about people complaining about being shunned and it's ruined their lives, because they can say, well, it's in the handbook, the organisation book that we have, that if you do wrong and you don't repent, we're going to shun you. Do you see what I mean?
Okay, Donnie. So, Donnie's calling in. She has an English accent. I think we can all pick up on that. So, Donnie, what would be your question to Barbara? Did you want to make a question? You just want to leave with that statement?
Well, the statement is, I was wondering if Barbara agrees that this is how Watchtower is winning their cases.
No.
People that are about being shunned, saying, well, you knew you were going to be shunned if you were unrepentant.
Well, English charity law has been changed. Watchtower, their money, the millions, billions of dollars in assets, they're very poor, literally poor, but rich in assets, but they have very little cash. And their money was basically stored in at England. The laws for 501c3s or the nonprofits were very good there for crooked organizations. But 2 years ago, mammoth changes were made in England. The reason which protects now England and the money source of Watchtower had been, I've seen the paperwork, amazingly. The Watchtower has been in money laundering for years. And so I have no proof here, but it'll come. We have information. This is the reason why the three organizations or charities were created in Ireland, because the Ireland Ireland has very loose laws and helps the Watchtower continue on in the money laundering. There's a lot to say here, and we have people who have the proof of all of this. Don't ever think the Watchtower is winning. In fact, not too long ago, before I had my accident, I talked to a man who was knee-deep with the money stuff before he left the Watchtower. And he says they're bankrupt. They have so much problem with money, but he said when you have a talk again, he said just keep emphasizing that they're broke, because they are. They have assets, but they don't have money. And so there's so many things with a huge organization like Watchtower that are going on behind the scenes. And we take it for granted. We just criticize about some belief, like on you store your own blood, all kinds of stuff like that. And you think it's so important. You don't really realize what you're dealing with. You're dealing with an old corporation that knows exactly how to use money and how to money laundry. If they want to take me to the court, fine, I'm ready to go. I got the paperwork.
Well, there you go, Barbara. Well, no doubt, Barbara, you're a fighter. But anyways, I see Matthew down there from South Africa. I don't know how many witnesses are down there, but would you say there's more witnesses than Mormons down there, Matthew?
Oh, that's caught me off guard. I'd have to look that one up, Rick. That's kind of a statistic that's a good one for Google. What I can tell you is that there's a lot of fracture that's going on. There is a South African connection to Ireland because, of course,
you got it, Matthew. You got it.
Yes, because South Africa was to be the backup world branch in case America went down. That was the idea. So you think Cape to Cairo. So this goes back as far as.
Well, we just lost the voice transmission there from Matthew. Maybe he'll come right back, but I'm going to skip.
While that's doing, can I just ask Diamond? Diamond, do you know Jim Seward, Seward, the guy that's being sued by the Mormon Church for? It's called Mormon Stories.
You mean John Dehlin?
No.
John Dehlin is the owner of Mormon Stories and the Open OSF Foundation that's being sued for.
Okay. It's Jim Seward that got a hold of me, and that's and the name of the film is Seventh-day Adventism versus Mormonism. How interesting that is! I'd like to pick your brain about this guy because. They're reaching out to me. His manager, I didn't write his manager's name here on my paper, but he reached out to me just recently. And I'll tell you what, these organizations, they want to talk with us. This is not that we're alone. I
know John Dehlin has been reaching out to JWs and other people because I know people who know him personally. There's a YouTube channel called Mormon Discussions by Bill Reel and Radio Free Mormon. I'm a regular on their podcast every week, and they work closely with John Dehlin. I've been in John Dehlin's groups. I follow his pages. He and I have had very brief, back and forth Facebook comments. So I would say I'm very familiar with that and the lawsuit and the lawyers who are who have commented on that. Colby Reddish is a friend of mine. He's talked about that lawsuit. Colby Reddish is a personal friend of mine. I'm in his Discord channel, so there's a lot to unpack with that lawsuit. But yeah,
see, the people who are listening to this, when they first started out with this evening, they never dreamed where all of this discussion is going.
If you want to talk about abuse in Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormonism, Kara Burrell, I would say, is also a friend of mine. And she used to work with John Dehlin, and now she's doing a deep dive on Tim Ballard and all the shenanigans that he was doing that the Mormon Church intentionally overlooked. And she's even done deep dives on how it looks like church funds, church tithing funds, were used to fund Tim Ballard's shenanigans.
Well, I'll be.
So it seems like there's a similarity across the board as well.
Wow. Hey, Diamond Dave, you have a really good voice, by the way. You're really good in radio. Really, you got a lot of resonance to your voice. Hey, we got Chicago on the line with us. Did you want to come in, Chicago, and say something? You're on with us. Go ahead. Chicago 312 area code. No, okay. Well, anyways, well, let's give you the last words, guys. Let's go around the horn here. Diamond Dave, what's your last words here tonight?
Last words, I just want to say thanks for having me on. This is the first time on the channel. The banter in the chat is fun. I love everybody in the chat. You guys are great. It's nice to see we can banter back and forth and still have a good time. Yeah, I look forward to like watching this channel more. I found this. I think Jimmy Bell was in the chat from Ruby Quinn's show. That's actually somebody talked about 6 screens, and I didn't know what it was. But oh, hey Dallas, what's up? I know Dallas too. So hi Dallas. But yeah, but I know apparently I know everybody, but yeah, so thanks for having me on. I look forward to subscribing and or just continuing to watch, since I'm already subscribed is what I mean to say. And can't wait to watch your channel grow, because I really think that you're going to explode, especially with that AI video, right? Because that AI video, first of all, it's total garbage, and I was so bored halfway through. My literal thought, I have a social media consulting business. Halfway through, I literally thought, as an average person watching this, I need to go check out 6 screens and see what the drama's about. That video is going to help push people to your channel. It's not going to scare people away.
I agree.
Well, good. Thank you. But now listen, don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger.
Oh no, you guys are cool. I like all you guys.
Well, thank you, Diamond Dave. Hey, that's Dallas over there. You want to say something to Dallas? Go ahead.
Well, hi, yo. Hi, Barbara. And I'm just so sorry to hear about what happened to you, and I hope you get better. And we love, I'm glad to hear from you again and have you with us tonight.
Well, hey, we all are going to become friends, and with friendship comes information. So, guys,
yeah. Well, let's give Matthew the last words here tonight. Matthew, what would you like to say?
Good to be with you. And Barbara, thank you very much for your example in being an effective researcher, going back to school. So it's been it's said in the circles. That's a real encouragement. And it's very important to be disciplined when it comes to documenting. Don't be shy about documenting, filing things away, because that's the evidentiary threshold that many Supreme Courts are saying doesn't exist. But the more that we talk like this, the more it goes into the internet ether. It can be analyzed by AI. And you could say that this is actually the front line for change. So, Barbara, I feel that you are a great example. John McBride taught me the same. He said, don't discard any of the correspondence. Don't discard any of those communications, because it all shows a pattern of what we're seeing, spiritual abuse. And it's very important for persons to analyze these things so that they can reconcile and move on.
Well, thank you, Matthew. Now, how about Junction Guy? Junction Guy, what's your last words here tonight?
My last words is I've enjoyed this show tonight. Love seeing all the different people. It's good to see you again, Barbara. And
thank you.
Maybe I could get my email address to you through Rick.
Well, let me tell you, I'm andersonsinfo@hotmail.com.
Okay, I'll remember that then.
Just put a plural on Anderson's info. And,
Okay.
and I will accept emails from anybody and you get an answer back. This is how I reach out people all over the world. Anderson's info is so busy, and I got six emails and 2 websites. Scars is my biggest one right now. We're going worldwide with Scars, and this is going to take off because we're going against penitent privilege, and we're going to do it everywhere in the world. All of these religions have got to do something about it.
I want to. Can I just say real quick? I want to jump in, even though I had last words. But I kind of want to help with this, right? And this is my thing. You guys can I could throw my email in the private chat, or you can find me one of my pages, Diamond Dave on Facebook. Reach out to me because this is one of the biggest things, and I've talked with John Dehlin, or not John Dehlin, but like some of his followers on his pages, and brought this up. A lot of people that are doing great things like you guys, it's wonderful, but there's not people my age and younger that are doing it. It's very few.
I've got some your age in the background that you don't know, and they are brilliant like you guys.
Exactly, but my point is, I want to get in on that and help merge the gap, right? Because there are younger people that are out there, and they will eat this stuff up because there's the whole niche just about cults in general on, YouTube is huge, right? Alessa Grenfell, Cults to Cultiousness. If we could get people of all ages involved, the Watchtower will have no one to go to. Mormonism will have no one to go to because they're targeting the younger people. But if the younger people are already aware, then that shuts them down right on the spot.
But look what's going on towards Jehovah's Witnesses in Brazil. You have to look at that. And Argentina. These countries in South America, they're ready to say, boot the whole organization out. The Watchtower made such a grave error in their behalf by using the Elders book as what they consider the legal thing that Brazil wanted to present their organization as acceptable, and they were wrong. Now the Brazilian government is just this, teeny weeny away from condemning the whole organization, throwing them all out. And once they start doing this, rest of South America is going. I have people I talk to all over the world. Listen, if anybody kills me, I got plenty of others who are doing this behind the scenes. Don't think that I'm just all mouth, because I'm not.
Well, I want to say, Barbara, Diamond Dave there, he made a lot of sense.
Yes.
The demographics, when I check the demographics here on the 6 screens, we do have an older audience. That's for sure. Our average listener is in their late 50s. So we go 50, 60, 70, even 80-year-old people coming in here. But he's right. If we could connect with the younger crowd.
I've got young ones. I'm telling you, I agree with him 100%. I agree with all of you guys, because all of you are you got portions of understanding of this. When you see the whole picture and you talk to some of my international friends, you will be shocked. We are not just taking on Jehovah's Witnesses. We're taking on all of them, all of the religions that have not done the right thing on behalf of our children.
Well, what I want David to do, Diamond Dave, I should say, to do is, write me at jwworldnews@gmail.com. jwworldnews@gmail.com. And what we'll do, excuse me, what we'll do, Diamond Dave, is I'd like to probably have you do a program on here and connect.
Oh, really?
So Mormons, and connect with some of the young Jehovah's Witnesses. You're a young fella, and I think that could happen. So you write me, and we can get your program here on the 6 screens.
Yeah, we could do that. And I mean, Carrie K research is right. The younger activists are on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
However, TikTok, because it's owned by the U.S., isn't seen right. People aren't going to see it as much globally as they would on YouTube, right? I should have clarified, because YouTube is global, but the U.S. TikTok is different than the Chinese TikTok here in Mongolia, right?
Well,
so
I've got people who want me to be on TikTok and get off of YouTube because I said YouTube is going out, and TikTok is huge. And they're young people who have contacted me about TikTok and said, Barbara, you will be a sensation on TikTok. And I
You
said,
would, yeah. Go, yeah. US TikTok. You would.
I said, what the heck
yeah.
is TikTok? I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, you do really well. Yeah, I agree with them 100%. That was
good. Oh my goodness, guys.
Well, Barbara, let's give Dallas. Yeah.
Put snippets of your YouTube on TikTok.
Did you
yeah,
hear
you
her,
can make
Barbara?
shorts. Yeah, make YouTube shorts, upload them to YouTube, upload them to TikTok, and then you've got double the reach.
Yeah.
Who else is on our telephone line? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Hey, Rick, this is Craig from Florida. We met at the 2025 convention you had.
Oh, yes, Craig.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to Barbara. Barbara, I live in Central Florida, and I was a witness from age 5 to like 40. I disassociated. We met. I have a picture of you and me. We talked briefly about your situation of the person that moved in to help you and whatnot.
Yes.
That was a very horrific story.
Absolutely.
So we talked, just you and I. But now that you had a fall, I would be willing to help you for like 2 or 3 days if you need someone like to get food or to.
Oh, no. You know what? Let me tell you guys. I have been around the witnesses all these years, and I end up with nobody. Isn't this the irony of this? My husband and I we converted 80 people into this organization. I had a son, I had a life, I had a fabulous life as a JW, mind you, and then at headquarters, and then afterwards, wonderful. And look at this, my husband dies, my son shuns me, and look what I have. I have a house, which other people want to try to take away from me, JWs and XJWs. I've seen it all. But I'm not stopping this.
But Barbara, I would not be staying with you. I'll stay at a local motel. You don't need to give me food. I would just help you with the things that have to get done. Your car, take it, or to get repaired, or grocery shopping. What I'm saying is I could give you like 2 or 3 days, and you're welcome to have my number if you ever need me.
Oh, that's very
you can call ex-elders about me. You can talk to Rick. He knows me a little bit. Fran and Joe know me. Constance and they know me too.
Well,
so if you ever need help,
I appreciate
I'm willing to give my number.
And remember, guys, this can happen to you. You get very interested, active in this religion. You're fighting for truth, and what you don't realize is everybody around you has disappeared because we're all getting older. I'm going to be 86 in a few days, and look at extraordinary life I've had. But everybody's gone. They've all died off or whatever. Am I whining about this? No, I'm not. And I'm going to continue. And we have wonderful, wonderful people to help us once we get rid of some of the people who are in this for reasons other than truth. So
my offer is I would not take any money. I don't want a dime. I would actually be very insulted. I'm just letting you know that.
Thank you. Well, just send me info.
I'm here for you if you need someone. That's all. My name is Craig.
Where were you 3 weeks ago?
Situation.
Oh, well, Craig, that's awful nice of you, Craig. Man, that's awful nice of you. Thank.
Yeah, disassociated. I have family that hasn't talked to me in 20-some years. I've never seen my niece. I love my son.
I've got 2 grandchildren. One is in Africa. Why? I don't know. And my son was Bethelite 16 years. I haven't seen him in 25 years. And so this is where you end up when you're fighting for truth. But I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
I got to see Ray and Cynthia at their home in Georgia, Winston, Georgia. And I was to go a second time, but Ray fell. But I spent the entire day with Ray and Cynthia. And
they only live an hour and a half from us when they were alive.
yeah, I flew down. We spent the entire day, had great talks.
I bet you did.
Dinner together, have pictures, whatnot. But Ray's two books really helped me to reaffirm or cement that it was the right thing to do to leave the organization. I was never disfellowshipped. I disassociated. Never got reproved. My father and brother are elders, you know, and so I just left because I just couldn't take the teachings anymore and the politics in the organization. Elders switching congregations because they couldn't get along. People starting to grow beards, and it was a big to-do in the organizations. It just frustrated me.
Well, Greg, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. It's amazing the stories we hear on here, and we've been hearing this for so many years. We all are in the same boat, so to speak. This Watchtower has to come down. Thank you, Greg, for calling in. Thank you for being.
Can I state my phone number for Barbara if she wants to write it down?
Well, okay. If you don't care if it's popular, you got your pencil out there, Barbara?
Absolutely.
All right, go ahead, Greg.
My number is 908-812-4450. And my last name is Uhrik. U-H-E-R-E-K. Craig. C-R-A-I-G.
Okay. Got it.
And if you if you had an emergency or needed something, I'm not the type that builds additions, but I could certainly clean up yards, go to the grocery store, run errands, you know, things like that, you know.
Well, I do appreciate that, and I'll tell you why when I get to talk to you, other than to the world at the same time. Because what happened was so fascinating, and I know people, I really do know people that I want all of you to know, and you will be amazed at what. I'm not going to say anything more. I'm not going to say any more, but every male that's right there, you have no idea what's coming in this world because of former witnesses and some people who are not witnesses, have never been involved with it, who are out there and want to change the world. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Well, Barbara, no doubt we'll love to have you on here tonight. We're going to cut this all short now. We appreciate everyone coming on, those on the telephone network, those on our live streaming here. We want to thank Junction Guy and Diamond Dave and Dallas, and we got Matthew as well. And we really appreciate all those that participated in tonight's program. Well, we do have a 6-screen Sunday tomorrow beginning at 1 o'clock. So by all means, we take on a different feel. We get into the scriptures. We get into theology tomorrow, 1 o'clock right here on the 6 screens. And I want to say I want to put a shout out to our friend Phil and his wife out there in Chicago. And thank you very much. We enjoyed our dinner with you the other night. And thank you for listening in here tonight as well. So thank you, everyone. Keep cranking away at it. And the last one leaving the Watchtower, please.
We'll hide their junction, and I just had nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
All of you.
And Barbara, and great seeing you too. And you'll have to meet some new ones sometime, and that I'll share with you.
Well, thank you.
Wonderful.
Have you ever met that Alyssa? Alyssa's awake. Have you met her yet?
No.
You'll have to check out her show and meet her, and you will. You reckon, Susan, they have to meet her too as well.
We'll be glad to do that, Dallas. And thank you for showing up here tonight.
Yes.
Well,
Now, I just want to mention to people too, if you want to stay on the telephone line, that telephone number scrolling across the bottom, if you dial that number, you can talk to people. It's not being recorded. It's not on YouTube or Facebook. We call it the after party. So if you want to join that, stay on the phone line. You can do that tonight. Thank you,
Rick,
everyone.
Rick,
Yep.
thank you, Rick.
Yes.
You thank everybody, and I want to take the position for everybody that you thank. I hope they don't mind. Thank you and Linda for what both of you do.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Greg. No, it's done. It's all over. We're like one big family here, one big community, and it's all working. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Now, listen, thank you. Keep standing tall. Don't you ever give in, up, or out. And the last one leaving the Watchtower, please turn off the new light. Good night, everyone.
Night. Take care, y'all.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
There you go, Pixie.